pork and beans. Oh, I don't care if the grease ain't burning. I don't care if the food ain't free. I don't care when your ass starts to cooking. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of planet Earth and beyond, stretching far off into the galaxy, as far as your mind's eye and your imagination can take you. Welcome to the Pork and Bean Show, starring Pork Cunningham and Frank Oliver Baines. We're going to introduce you to new thoughts, put questions in your head, and consider things you've never considered before. Where the paranormal becomes the normal, where unreal becomes real, and where love is everything. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Hey,
Oh, oh, oh. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
hey, well, we're live on
Hallelujah.
YouTube.
We're on Facebook Live.
We are?
It
Yeah.
says so. Live on.
We're back.
You're live on YouTube. What the hell you doing live on YouTube, bro?
I can't go on Facebook.
Uh,
It won't allow it.
well then, phooey. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we're trying to get it going, and then the thing's not working, and I'm pulling my hair out. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna try to go live on. We're gonna try to go live on YouTube. What? Well, I don't know what to do.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mike Hill is live now in Tim Collins' Pork and Beans show. Oh my God. I'm going to end this. I don't know what's going on there. They just hooked me up to they hooked me up to an event. All right, get out of there.
Hang on. I'm going to go live on YouTube and then we'll just get started.
Okay.
I put the link in for my channel, and maybe I'll get some people to actually follow my channel now. Maybe that's a good thing.
You know what I did? I just went live, right? But then hooked it up to the Pork and Bean show, a live event.
It worked?
No, yeah, it worked, but it worked because I was going live on Pork and Bean show. So anyway, that's crazy.
Okay, well, we're live on Facebook now. So
you're live on Facebook now?
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
So hey, my name is Frank Oliver Beans. What's your name? What's your name?
Hey, my name's Pork Cunningham, and We're here with the Pork and Beans Show. So
You're not live on
this is
Facebook, you're live on YouTube.
well, that's what I said.
Oh, you said Facebook. It was a faux pas.
Can't you talk to YouTube? Are you shy talking to YouTube? I told you I can't go on Facebook.
Moment. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Absolutely. What did Timothy Colland? Oh, his name's spelled wrong. He's got a D on the end. Timothy Colland. Colland? It's Collins, isn't it?
Colin.
Anyway, yeah, we got Timothy Collins as our guest today, but yeah, we're having problems on Facebook last couple.
We're supposed to start at 12 o'clock. Gee, if we had 10 minutes early.
I know. I'm going to have to figure out, this is twice in a row, right?
I would give those.
I'm going to have to figure out what's going.
Look, that's why everybody's on StreamYard, because I guess because it's unreliable. Because in StreamYard, you go.
Somebody's watching.
Yeah. Cool.
One person's watching.
That's cool.
One person. Why? Maybe it's one of us, or maybe it's Timothy.
I don't know. Well, this is a crazy.
Yeah.
Day, so what do you call it?
Well, not really. It's just there's some glitch with going live on Facebook the last couple times. It worked the first 23 or 24, 5 times or whatever.
Look at that. You got 3 of them today. Did you wrote his name down wrong? Collins.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I'm going to change it.
Oh, okay. So.
Well, all right. Anything been going on with you lately, Frank, before we bring Timothy on?
Oh, all kinds of wild and crazy stuff. I can't even keep track of it, but it seems like the Sasquatch are doing all kind of stuff. You know, and people are having nice experiences. I'm going to share the Pork and Bean I'm going to try to share from YouTube onto the Pork and Bean Show group.
Hey, wait a minute.
That'd be really cool. What? YouTube?
Well, why am I live twice on? It looks like I'm live twice on. Forget it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Nonsense.
We back together again?
Yeah, something's happening, so stick with us.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well, we're live on YouTube. I put the link in Pork and Bean Show, so I may as well just go for it. But yeah, most of our audience obviously is the live part, right? Oh well.
Yeah, if they can see it, that's a good thing.
Okay. Does somebody have sound going on in the background, or is that cool? I guess we're okay. Okay. Let me just make sure that I got that notification in Pork and Bean Show, and then what are you doing, Frank? Did it work?
I don't see Frank any. Just you, me, and you.
Oh, okay.
Doing things.
That's the problem.
Okay, so now that's doing that.
Okay, you're back.
Are you trying to go live, Frank, on YouTube? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm trying to get it from YouTube. Just leave me alone, man. You say something. Say something interesting.
Should we start the show without you? I guess so. Okay, let's just go for it. Hey everybody, this is Port Cunningham.
I already said who I am.
I'm here with my technical wizard friend and the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Baines, and this is the Pork and Bean Show.
Yeah.
Frank's gonna be busy doing something, and today's guest is Timothy Collins. So, hey Timothy, how you doing?
Great. Starting the day off fine.
It's like 42
Cup of coffee? Is that
42 minutes of chaos. It set a record. We set a record today. 42 minutes actually, plus another 30 whatever it was, 25 minutes of pre-chaos chaos. So right, almost 50 minutes.
well? There's always pre-chaos, right? We have to have the pre-game chaos before the chaos starts.
I'm so glad.
Actually, you know what?
Timothy, this is going to be a good.
This jacket is actually really hot. If I take it off, I'll be completely nude though.
Oh,
He's wearing his boxers. Can you believe this guy, the gall, and he's with a straight face. Hey, I'm Frank Oliver Baines. And he's in his boxers.
No, that's you. That's you.
I, on the other hand, have panties on. Have panties.
Hey, I'm going to try to step out of the screen without seeing my lower extremities and put on a different shirt because I'm just sweating in this thing.
Why don't you just shut your damn camera off? Jeez. It's dangerous.
Oh, that would be something.
We're in danger. This is a striptease. It's a striptease show. First thing, and this is serious. Wait a minute, this is a serious show.
No, it is?
Yeah.
When did that happen? You never told me that.
Okay.
I can't do a serious show.
We're live on Facebook. We're live on Facebook from YouTube, and all it does is send you to YouTube. Well, that's
hey man, you got all the pressure on me. This is a serious show. I can't do a serious show. That changes the whole dynamic.
Oh,
you know.
Well, we can always do a redo this later on. Just have me come back and we'll redo it again another time too.
See what's going on.
No. We'll do something today because we're live on Facebook, but on YouTube. But
Timothy Collins.
Yeah, we'll have to try to get that glitch.
Collins. I don't know how it got spelled wrong on multiple platforms across the internet. But
no, it's fine now. I corrected it. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just get going. This is the Pork and Bean Show, as I said. So, Timothy.
Yes.
Tell us how you first started waking up to something was not quite as it seemed around you or whatever. What was your first experiences with paranormal or however people would describe it?
Well, it actually kind of started about 40 years ago after I had purchased my property. And I was seeing some very odd tree structures. And then several years later, while I was hunting, my first encounter, well, no, that was my second encounter. The second encounter, they scared the bejeebers out of me because we were looking for a deer. And that actually ended up on Animal Planet. There's a season 3, episode 6 on that. And anyways, the forest people had found the deer before we did, and he wasn't giving it back. And I kind of got PTSD from that encounter because he kind of frightened me a lot. And then we kind of fast forward to where I had that photo of the Sasquatch in my storm door. And Patrick was looking at it, and he actually made contact, and he said his name was Somi. And then he introduced himself to me, and he introduced himself as my guardian. And I have known him ever since. And that was the way it started. Then as time went on, they keep introducing me to new things. And the longer it goes on, the more paranormal it would get, until I was seeing strange orbs showing up on my trail cams, lights, beams of light I couldn't explain, what we would call rods would show up in the photos. Uh, there was just all kinds of things, and they keep slowly introducing me to things. And then after that, I started seeing glyphs, which I didn't recognize at first. I didn't realize what they were. Then they started to gift me with different objects. For instance, there's a photo that I sent you of
when
a bunch of rocks,
when did you
in a
start?
circle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
When did you start realizing what glyphs were?
Actually, Pat and Robin kind of introduced me to them, because they've been
Okay.
basically my interpreter, my go-between between the forest people and myself. And they started showing different glyphs. I didn't fully understand them. Then I would see the big X's in the in tree structures. I started asking them to make them for me, and they did that. Pretty soon I had all these tree structures all over the place in the woods. There would be trees that were bent over into a half circle, and then put like a log or something on it to hold it down. The biggest one they made me was probably 30 feet wide across the arch, was probably 14 feet high, and it consisted of two trees. One was about 6 inches in diameter, the other one was 5 inches diameter. I sent you a photo of that, and in one of the photos, there's a circle around it. Inside the photo, there's a circle inside the photo. If you look real closely, there's a forest person in there that is kind of in between visibility and invisibility. You can make out his upper torso, and as you look into that circle and start to view down, it fades into nothing. He just totally fades out of view. But you can see his upper torso, his head, and his shoulder and neck and stuff like that.
And you sent us that one, right?
Yeah.
You sent us that picture? We'll have to look at that in a bit, Frank, and when we bring the pictures up. Okay, go ahead.
And
go ahead,
over the years, they keep introducing me to more and more things. And I would take these trail cam pictures. I would get orbs and these different kinds of moving objects that I still call orbs, because they show a track line of how they move through space, and the camera would pick them up. And they would sometimes come in ones, twos, up to maybe 25 in one picture. And I couldn't explain it, so I actually asked the forest people what those were. And they said they're spirits. They're actually spirits, and they come through what they called ley lines that run through the property. They run through the property in a north-south direction. The other information that they added to that was that the ley lines are blue in color. They weren't specific as to what type of spirits that these that were on camera that I was getting. I have nearly 3,500 photos of these different types of orbs. Now, this last year, I posted it on Pork and Beans there last week. There's a number of orbs that are like still, with no track on them as to their movement. They're just like still. A lot of people call them that, well, they're just raindrops, or you know, what you would consider Occam's razor is the simplest explanation is probably the most likely. But the forest people
Or
had
bugs or something, yeah.
yeah. But the forest people were very specific, and they said, no, those are spirits. So I'm just going with what they said. But I've had a lot of experiences with them over the last 40 years, and it seems like the last 3 or 4 years that they have started to open show more. In other words, I would be doing something, I'd catch movement out of the side of my eye, I'd turn, and I would only see them for a second, and then they would just fade away. So they've been doing that a lot lately, and it seems more like the youngster.
So wait a minute. So you would see them like fully materialize, or like,
yeah.
and then they just fade away?
And then they would just fade
Okay.
away. But it would make you question if that's what you actually seen or not. But then there would be something telltale that would let you know that what you've seen was what you
Mhm.
had actually seen. Like the one
That rings a bell.
like one youngster, he materialized for just a second. I turned and I looked, and he stepped away and disappeared. Now, what gave me the indication that I seen what I seen was there was a small fern that was moving that his foot and heel had touched. An interesting thing that happened last week, they never did this before, was they left a handprint or a palm print on my driver's side window. I sent a photo of that also.
Mhm.
I had friends that say, "Oh no, that's a bear print," and I said no, because you can actually see the palm, the palm where you can see like the double loop on the palm.
Mhm.
And then if you look closely in the photo, you can see the dermal ridges. And I got his name. I was able to get his name. His name was Epshaw. That's one of the things that I do when I'm speaking with the forest people. Normally I speak to them through Pat, Robin, or Andrea, what I call my 3 interpreters. And I always ask their names. I currently have like 23 of their names currently that I know
Wow.
who they are.
Excuse me, Brian, could you please do something about the screen share? Maybe I can pull up that handprint for you, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna
got the
say,
photo of mine.
Could you do something about the screen share so I can show them
yeah,
that
just give me a
handprint? I got it
second.
right
Yeah,
here.
I'm right on it. I'll give it in a second. I was just gonna say that very much like my experience, Tim. They add on. They start off with a really simple, and they add on
Yeah.
stuff, and
Close
then
to disable the attended screen share.
yeah, I hear you, Beans.
So you gotta put it on it so it's open for everybody, not just you.
Yeah, that photo has my handprint in it along with the palm print.
If
Yeah.
we could just
So
bring
that's
that
be
photo
what
up,
you're looking for.
that'd be great.
Okay, go ahead.
And then if you're able to zoom in on it, you can actually see the dermal ridges on it. That's it. That's the one.
That's right.
You
So
can
this
see
is
the
the size of the handprint up here.
yeah,
Wow.
it's at least twice as big as mine.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you can zoom in on that, you can see the dermal ridges on the
I can see them. I can see
on
them. Well, I got a big 32-inch screen, so I can see them really clearly.
okay.
But it's
Yep.
I don't know if we can
Doesn't
zoom
really
in or
zoom
not. I
in
don't
on
think we
this
can zoom in.
application.
Yeah, I can see
But
it
you can still
absolutely.
see-
No question. There's no question. I can see the dermal ridges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So they keep doing stuff like that over the last few years, where they make themselves much more known. And like I said, I was able to get his name. His name was Epshaw. And he said that he grew up watching me as a youngster and is now a young adult. They refer to me as the elder, sometimes as the great elder. And I had asked them a long time ago, I says, well, what attracted you to me? And they said, you give off a great light. So I'm assuming that's some sort of aura that they can see, that I have no idea how that works. And I had asked them,
yeah, they can read your energy and stuff and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
and see, you know, basically what you're all about. So they can see something in you you might not even understand yourself, right?
correct. And I had
Yeah.
asked them, I said, well, why did you choose me? And he said to me, he said, we didn't choose you, you chose us,
Whoa.
which I thought was kind of interesting. Because what had happened was, now that's the photo of what I call the medicine lady, which brings up another story, because they had helped me heal several times.
Where's the picture, Beans? It's gone now.
That's the one. It was the drawing I did, and I called her the medicine lady. They do that from time to time. As an elder, they say they do it out of respect for my age, because I'm 75. So
Wow, that's still young.
Hey, he's finally got a guest older than me on the show, or you. Well, actually, I guess you're older than me, Frank. So forget that comment.
Yeah. So anyways, they told me they didn't choose me, I chose them. And how that had come about was, one day I was up on the property and I just started talking out loud to them. And I said, I wanted to have a closer relationship with the forest people. And I wanted to someday to be able to talk with them and perhaps walk down one of the trails with them someday. And as soon as that had happened, it was like you turned the page and everything's changed. They started talking with me. They started leaving the glyphs. They started leaving gifts of different kinds. Usually it's feathers. They give me feathers. To give you an example how that works is that I might be cutting the grass up there, and I'd make, let's say, a dozen passes, and then I'd start a new row, and then right where I just had cut, there's a turkey feather, and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't there a second ago. And they do that.
Yeah.
They do that quite often. They've gifted me a lot of things. They've gifted me mushrooms. A lot of times in my home, they would gift me with white birds. The photo that's up there right now, that's Somi. He's my guardian. I was doing a drawing one day, that one there, and I felt like I wasn't totally in control of the pencil. It felt like I was being guided. And after I had my knee replacement, he introduced himself as my guardian, and I asked him about that picture. I said, "Who is that picture?" And he said, "It's me, your guardian." He said, "I guided your hand, and it's my gift to you." Because normally when I make a drawing, I do fairly good, but this one came out exceptionally good. And he said he helped guide my hand as I was doing that drawing. So that
Better than the
was
stick man I would have done. Yeah, I know what you mean, because when I was when I write about them and whatever, I can feel that they are guiding. Well, they are guiding my words and whatever.
Yes, they
and
do.
Putting thoughts in my head, like to remind me, you got to put this in here and stuff. So it totally rings a bell.
Yeah,
absolutely rings true. That's very cool.
They have different ways of doing the telepathy with you. I don't hear their voices, but they do send me images, and sometimes they come to visit me in dreams. And they just say it's better if we do it that way. I don't fully understand it. One of the last times that we had talked, I had talked with my guardian Somi. He said, soon we will meet face to face, but don't be afraid. And I asked him, I says, well, how tall are you now? And he said, a little over 9 feet. And when I had first met him was with that first encounter with the deer that they had found it first, and he gave me the PTSD,
Right.
so to speak. That was him originally, and he had made his presence known by stomping on the ground during that very first encounter that I had the PTSD from, and he made 3 steps one direction, 3 steps the other direction, and then we turned a Coleman lantern up onto where the sound was coming from, and he was probably only about 10 feet away, and he was about 7.5 feet tall, and was only there for a second. And what I thought was he had stepped away, but he might have just vanished. I don't know. But he also made this guttural noise that the vibration, what I call infrasound.
Yeah.
The volume behind the sound, it was so loud and so low vibration, I could feel vibrations making my internal organs vibrate. It was so powerful. And that's probably what gave me the PTSD. Because anytime I would talk about it, I would get very emotional, and I would kind of relive the emotions, and you get the goosebumps and the hair racing up in the back of your neck and your arms and stuff like that. So that was pretty intense. That was one of my first meetings, and then he reintroduced himself after I took that photo and caught him in the storm door. And then there's a story that goes with that. Pardon?
You want me to put that one up?
Sure.
You might have 2 of them, but I can only find 1 right now. Let's try this one.
There's actually 2 or 3 copies of that one in there. It's in the front of the house. And then it's like a picture in a picture. It's got the storm door and then the original picture.
I got it there. It's this one right here.
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
The picture in a picture.
Yep, that's the one.
But this is the actual one right here.
Yep, if you look closely on his right shoulder, he said his son is sitting on his shoulder. If you look closely at the photo of his image in the screen door, you can actually see something on his shoulder. He said it was his son.
But this is a reflection of somebody who's not there, right?
That's my front door. They had come.
He wasn't actually physically there, right?
Well, he was there, but I couldn't see him. But the camera caught him.
Camera caught him. So he was a reflection of an invisible man.
Yes, but the camera could pick it up. I couldn't see him myself. Now, the story that goes behind that, the reason why he came here to visit me was because I had just been, had gone through double knee replacement surgery, what they call bilateral knee replacement surgery. I had both knees done at the same time. And I didn't know until afterwards that he was there watching over me while I had the operation. And he said they had 2 healers there that helped guide the hand of the surgeon. That was what he had told me. And I didn't know about it until several weeks afterwards. And so he told me what had happened, that they had sent 2 healers to help guide the hands of the surgeon. And what was unique about my surgery and I had both knees done at the same time, which is very unusual. They don't usually do that, but I had them both done at the same
Yeah.
time. And then the next day after the surgery, the doctors wanted me to see if I could move. And so they said, see if you can pick up your leg and bend it. So I picked up my leg and I bent it. I was at almost at 90 degrees. And I did the other one and did the same thing, and their jaws dropped. And they said, you shouldn't be able to do that. And I said, well, I don't know. It's not hurting. I'm not in pain or anything. And then they said, well, see if you can get up out of the bed yourself. And they had like a little walker there for me. And they had like two assistants to help me if I needed it. I got right up. I didn't have any problem at all. I wasn't in pain. I mean, there was swelling and all that, but I wasn't in pain or anything. And they were shocked that I could stand up on my own. And then they proceeded to take me to my first PT session. And they had wheeled me into the PT session in sort of like a recliner chair that had wheels on it. And they put us into the physical therapy, and they wanted to see if we could walk. And so I volunteered to use the walker, and I was able to what they called ambulate down the hall, back and forth, all by myself. And there was 14 other people in there with me. Now they all had one knee done, and I had both done. Now, most of the people couldn't even lift their own leg up. And when they tried to use the walker, they had like two assistants to help them walk so they wouldn't fall or anything. But I was able to move right around without any problem at all.
So to be clear, you're talking a Sasquatch spirit assisted healing, a Sasquatch assisted healing.
And they've done that.
That's important because that's a whole category of stories where Sasquatch have done healing or assisted healing.
Yes, and they've done that several times to me, and which kind of leads to another story. When I was, I think it was about 3 years after my knee surgery, I was having trouble with my shoulders. I have arthritis in my shoulders. So when I was up at the property, I had asked the forest people if they could do something to help relieve the pain in my shoulders. And I had fallen asleep. And what they did was at somewhere about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, but I couldn't move. I was like totally frozen. The only thing I could move was my eyes. So in my cabin up there, I have these 3 Mr. Heaters that I use as auxiliary heat sources, and they give off a little glow where you can actually see. It's not, perfectly bright or anything, but it's just enough where you can see. Well, I had opened my eyes and I couldn't move my body. I couldn't turn my head. The only thing I could move was my eyes. And as I was looking, I turned my head and my left arm was up in the air like this here. And I could see 2 forest people. One was looking at my armpit while the other one held.
Wait a minute. Did you say you said you couldn't move your head? So you turned your eyes, you mean?
I couldn't move. The only thing I could turn was my eyes.
Yeah, because you said you turned your head. Okay. No, I just wanted to clarify that. You actually meant you turned your eyes.
I just turned my eyes.
And saw the 2 forest people there.
And
right.
Saw the 2 forest people. Now I could see right through them. But one had my arm held up in the air, and the other one was kind of looking at my armpit. And then they noticed that I had seen them. And what they did was they put my arm down, and they left post haste, went right through the wall and disappeared. Now, after whatever they did, I don't know what they did, but they did something And for several years afterwards, my shoulders didn't bother me. I have no idea what they did or how
Wow.
they did it. And so that was like my second healing. And they also did
Yeah.
one on my for my hand. I was getting more arthritis in my thumb in that area, and it was causing pain. And I did the same thing. I was talking with Patrick and Robin at the time, and I said, "Somi, can you help me out with my hand?" I said, "I'm experiencing a lot of pain in my hand." And Somi said back to me, he says, you're getting a lot older. He says, there's only so much we can do for you. And he says, I'll send a healer and see if that will help. And it actually did for a while. So I've had actually 3
Yeah.
healings from them over the years.
I've been very fortunate. I haven't had to have any of that yet. Knock on wood. But I do know a friend of mine had heart surgery. They performed heart surgery on him, and it was witnessed by my girlfriend actually. So they are great healers. There's no question about that. And there was an energy, vibration, and whatever, and a sound associated with that incident, which was quite interesting. And another interesting thing was is that as this was going on, like I guess I'll tell the story quickly. My girlfriend.
Wait a minute, this who hizzle swizzle
Yeah.
says hello and amazing.
Headphones go off
all that kind of
occasionally.
stuff. Anyway,
Um,
messages. Bye. Go back.
Older gentleman. This is an older gentleman, and there was like this is like a 12-man tent or whatever. So my girlfriend and him were sharing a tent, and all of a sudden she hears this cut. Is that about beans? All of a sudden, every time I see something that sounds like it's going to be good, he tries to make it.
Timothy, how long
Tries
ago?
to.
How long ago was that you had your knees replaced and all that stuff was happening?
That was about 6 years ago
Okay, so it's not that
for
far.
the knees. Yeah, about 6 years ago for the knees.
With the
And
arms and the arthritis thing.
yeah. And I while we got a little pause here, I asked them why I couldn't move while they were doing whatever they were doing, and they said it's safer for me that way when they are doing something, so that I don't know. I assume so I don't jerk or move, or if I come awake and see them that I'm not in panic or something. But I couldn't move until they left. And they said it was better if they did it that way for me.
So they
That was master beans. That was masterful. You shut me right down with my story there. You're getting better at it.
Listen to the guest stories, not your stories. I told him, I warned him about this. I warned him, you got to step up, man. You can't let him be bullied around.
Well, hey, I've been pretty quiet for a while. I've been doing a lot better, haven't I?
Let's hear your story because I don't want your feelings hurt.
I'll just make it quickly. I mean, because it just sort of. So anyway, my girlfriend's laying in this tent with this other guy, and she's in a 12-person tent. She hears this buzzing, kind of electrical buzzing kind of sound, and she says to this guy, she says, "Do you hear that?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "It's coming from my chest or from my heart." He had a really serious heart problem, and they were literally performing heart surgery on him as that was going on. And the next day he woke up, and he actually, for quite a while, he felt quite a bit better, more energy. He was not doing well that night. So there's definitely healings, like you said, that they can do to people that they want to help. And the other thing, the interesting thing was, this is very interesting, and this is something I've also experienced in a different context, in a different story. But as this heart surgery was going on, they were at a camping trip, right? And there were other people in their tents or whatever in the middle of the night, and they said, the next morning they said to, it was actually Tom and Sue. They said, why were you guys walking around our tents talking? And they said, what? We weren't. So they heard somebody walking around their tents talking in their voices too, which which I have experienced. So it rings a bell, but that's an interesting side note. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Now I can relate to
That's
that
Yeah.
kind of
buzzing
interesting. I
like you're
have no
talking
idea what you
about.
got planned.
I
I'm sure it's
spent
something
a
devious and
week with
diabolical.
Dr. Matt
It is.
Johnson on an
Do you have your
expedition
pants
up in
on, for God's
Washington.
sakes?
No.
On and
See?
me, Andrea, were there at the same time, and we
I
shared
know he's got a
a little
bathrobe on.
shelter together. And it was raining to beat the
That's
band
his
that night.
Hugh Hefner.
Somewhere around 2-3 o'clock in the morning, something reached through that canopy and touched my leg. It felt like 3 fingers up by the quadriceps, halfway between the 2 joints between the knee and the hip. And it felt just exactly like you said. It felt like an electrical buzzing. The fingers, well, I assume they were fingers, they felt like they were about the size of quarters. And then that once that buzzing left, they went away, and they came back about 5 minutes later and started tinkering with my toes one at a time. They went from the right foot, from the small pinky up to the great toe, then went over to the left foot and went down the other way. Also,
Oh, just lost your mic. Somehow we lost your mic. Wiggle your wires there, Tim.
I'll ask him to unmute.
Somehow you muted yourself.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
right,
There he is.
There
Okay.
you go.
Tim.
I just got
Tim.
on. Yeah.
Okay. So you said I'm trying to figure out where you left off before the mic went. Anyway, go ahead.
They
You
were
probably know.
they were tinkering with my toes.
Right.
And
Right.
then
That's it.
shortly after that, we had a campfire out, and we were sitting in chairs. And it was the very first time I had ever heard a forest person talk to me with mind speak. They called my name. They said Tim, and I could tell it was like a young female. And I had people on either side of me, and I asked Cynthia if she had called my name, and she said no. And I asked Andrea if she had called my name. She said no. And then after I had asked that question, there was something that came up from behind me, put their arms around me, and gave me a big hug. And I'm looking, and there's nothing there.
Wow.
So that was another very unusual. And that's the only time, the first time and the only time I've actually had the forest people speak to me, called my name.
I would say that was more
But,
beautiful than unusual. Wow. That was, yeah.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
it was. Now, I had talked to Somi, and because I wanted to know why he never spoke to me directly. He always spoke mostly through Patrick, but sometimes Robin. And then this last year and a half, he would speak through Andrea. And I had asked him, I said, well, why don't you just speak to me directly? And he said, well, I hate to tell you this, Tim, but he says, you have absolutely no skills, no talent in that area. He says, however, he said, soon we will speak directly. Now, I don't know if some event has to happen or there is some sort of a time, but he said it's not time yet for that to happen, which I thought was kind of odd. Now, they also have the ability to see into the future and into the past. I'm not sure exactly how that's accomplished. But
Well, because time
now,
doesn't exist for them really like it does for us.
Yeah,
It's a 3D
time
linear
is
understanding.
very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
ahead.
very
Sorry.
different. But he said it's not time yet, but he said it will happen. So
Yeah,
but
that's funny because he's kind of talking in your understanding, right? He's kind of talking because it already has happened in a sense. But he's talking, in the 3D linear understanding that we can associate with.
Right. He says, well, I have actually spoken to you. And again, it's a matter of interpretation. They have sent me dreams and images. One time they, in fact, it was very close to that time that the two healers came in and were tinkering with my shoulders. It was actually the same week. They had sent me individual pictures of themselves, images. Now, what was unique about it was they were the most high definition, three-dimensional images of themselves. And they were all different. I mean, there were no two alike. Some were round-headed, some were apple or cone-headed, some were black, brown, white, different colors. Their face structures were all very different. There were some that were very human looking. There was some that were more Neanderthal looking. Their noses and all their face structures were very, very different. Now, what was unique about these images, they were so stunning in their clarity. I could see every pore, every hair follicle, and I could actually and they came one after another, only like fractions of a second apart. But even in those fractions of a second, I could actually turn that image, that 3D image, and I could look at it in any way that I wanted. And the lighting was absolutely perfect. The lighting was absolutely perfect. And they had sent me images like that of themselves, which I'll go to and then there was over 20 of them. Now you might find this interesting. Let me get my glasses on here.
I'm pretty sure I will.
I always ask their names when I'm talking to them. Now, these are the names that I've gotten over the years. Talnika was my very first guardian. He was there for about 3 years. And then I was turned over to Somi, and Somi is the next name. This is a female name, Safuse, and this is apparently Somi's wife. Then there's Ellis, Malin, Matoma, Ruga, Anson, Nada is another female. Marla was kind of interesting because when I first talked to her, I was getting this floral odor, a very heavy floral odor. It's almost like you had a fresh bottle of perfume, you dumped it out. It was so strong and so pungent. And I could walk in and out of the odor. And that was Marla. Then there was Helmut.
Hey, Tim, I just wanted to mention that the females quite often have that floral, fragrant perfume smell. Yes. Go ahead.
And I got several of their names in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
Hellman, Mandela was the young man that I had seen that he appeared and then disappeared, and I could see the little fern waving. And I believe he was one of Somi's sons. Then there was Samuel. Samuel is, I sent you a picture of a forest person that you can kind of see through, and there's kind of a yellow circle around it. His name was Hellman, and he had also left us a trackway. Myself, Andrea, and another person was with us in the forest. Yes, that's the one. That is Samuel, and he had left us a trackway. Now the trackway started out of nowhere, and it went for about 300 steps, and then it just totally disappeared. There's a couple of more photos that go along with that story, which is I always carry a tape measure with me, and it shows the distance of the footprint.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's in one of those pictures. It just shows the snow, and I have a little
Yeah,
measuring.
let's see if I can find that one. So you
Yeah,
keep talking and see if I can find it.
it it's in there, and the tracks were 17 inches in length, or the footprints were 17 inches in length. It was 9 inches across the ball of the foot and 6 inches across the heel, and the strides were 48 inches apart. That's it right there. The strides were
Yeah,
48
big guy.
inches. Uh,
That's a big dude, man.
yeah.
It looks like it might have melted a little bit, but still.
Well,
Um,
now that one there, the second picture with the gravel. Now I had just laid some cement down on, yeah, that one there, and you can see it's a youngster's footprint right next to mine. It was probably only about 7, 8 inches in length, and I had just put that cement down to fill some divots in my driveway, and they stepped into it. That was a youngster. That was a youngster whose footprint I had got. Now this was in very late December or early November, so it was cold out. So you people just don't walk around with bare feet.
yeah. So this was at your place?
Yeah,
This was at cement at your place?
yeah.
I bet you never took that one out.
No, I left it there, but the
Yeah,
time the weather
obviously, yeah.
is getting to it, and hasn't done that. Uh, Now some of the other names is Samuel, Rizikiman, Wasika, Amos, Ashtook, Eaton, Eldred, Epshaw, Bugatti. Now Bugatti was another female, and she had that very fragrant floral smell, and that was in my residence. I was cleaning snow off, and I had asked about the person because I had contacted Robin and Patrick, and they were able to zero in on who that was, and her name was Bugatti, like the car, and she had another very odd floral smell, and of course, naturally in winter, in the middle of winter in December, you don't have flowers anywhere, so it's
Right.
very obvious. Another one was Rydell and Blossom. Those are the names, and I
Now
always
wait a
write them
minute.
down.
Now wait a minute. Blossom didn't have a floral scent? It seemed like a shame.
She did also.
Oh,
Yes,
she
yes,
did. Okay.
yes, she did.
Awesome.
Yes, she did.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah.
And
Hey,
then
I wanted.
a lot of
Oh, go ahead then.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, no, finish what you're saying on this thought because I wanted to ask you something totally unrelated. Well, related, but different thought.
Yeah, go ahead. I got all
So
kinds of stuff that I can share with you.
oh, okay. So you were talking about mind speak, how there are many different forms of mind speak, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
But go over the ones that you know and the ones that they use more often with you. Let me just say, for me, it's usually I have had mind speak. Usually, it's thought placement, and then my answer will be right there, kind of thing, right? Like I'll say, I wonder if it's like this, but it's not my thought, and then the answer is right at the foot of the, at the on the forest floor, like a glyph or something, or some no brainer, hammer over the head answer. So that's one way, right? But
Yep.
talk about what you know, or
Well, mind speak will come in those images, like I had told you about. They sent me those 3D images of all the
yeah.
individual members, the clan.
Hmm.
They will come to you in dreams, and
Hmm.
they will come to you in visions. Now, vision is a little bit different than a dream because you're not really totally asleep and you're not totally awake. It's sort of like an in between, like a dream state thing, but you're awake, but you're not really fully awake, and you're like partly asleep, but not totally asleep. And they came to me one day like that, and it was in the morning, and I had these children that came into my bed. That one was maybe like 3 or 4 years old, and the other one was maybe like 2. And they kept pulling on my arms and try to get me out of bed, and they were laughing and giggling, and they wanted me to get up, and they wanted me to play with them. And I was just so tired. It's like I couldn't hardly even uh, I couldn't hardly move. I mean, I wasn't really awake and wasn't really asleep, but I was so tired that I couldn't really play with them. But they made me smile and laugh because they were so cute. Now, the one, I think he was a young boy. Uh, he was he was so uh, thick and heavy for a young person. He was so cute. I just gave him a big hug, you know. And when I hugged him, I could feel his ear on the side of his face. And it was shortly after that that I had woke up. But I had to write everything down as I was going, uh, because if in a vision or a dream, if you don't write it down right away, you start getting gaps in your recall. So I always try to write them down, and I'll post more of those experiences on Pork and Beans there for you.
Have you ever had a holographic image, like appear right before your eyes? I guess that's another
Uh,
form. I had that one time, but it might have been unrelated to Sasquatch, but it's all kind of related anyway. I'm just wondering, you have anything like that?
no, but I've had a number of different visions though that
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
recorded
yeah.
and I post.
Well, I mean, you know what? They feel different stuff at different people, right? Like we've
Yeah,
all got different
and
things going on
and
with a lot of
they
commonalities.
and they never give you more than you can handle, and they
That's right. Yeah,
like spoon feed it to you a little bit at a time so it doesn't blow your mind, because a lot of
yeah,
these things over time, if you were to explain what you had experienced, most people wouldn't believe it. So you actually have to experience a lot of this stuff firsthand, or it's just so far out of our norm that it's hard to accept, and it's totally reasonable.
yeah. But there's a sincerity when people like yourself and myself and Mr. Beans talk. If somebody's really listening, got an open mind, they can see that there's a real sincerity there. So,
And this is one of the
I guess it depends on who wants to believe what. Yeah,
it's
go
one of
ahead.
the key things that the forest people said that they liked in a people that they accept, that they said you have to have an open mind and a big heart. That was
Hmm.
like two of their requirements. And then what they do is they like watch you for a very long time to see what you are and what you're about. And this was one of the reasons why they sent the children to me, is because they wanted the children to experience me as a human.
Yeah.
And so they keep introducing more and more children to me. A couple of years ago, I was out on my deck. Now, the end of my deck is probably about 14 feet off the ground, and I have some small trees that are growing around there. And I was nipping back some of the branches, and I felt two fingers touch my ear and kind of stroke my ear a little bit. And I turned real quick and I looked, and there was nothing there. So at the end of the day, again, I was contacting with Pat and Robin and asked them, what was that? Because I know someone touched me, but it felt like little teeny fingers. And the experience that came with that is they said my guardian Somi had held up a little girl who wanted to touch me. And like I said, from the ground up to where I'm at is 14 feet. So he had to be standing next to the deck and held the little girl up so she could touch my ear. And that coincides with what Somi said about himself, that he would be about 9 feet tall. So you figure with his arms and then a child being held up, that would be just about right, 14 feet off the
Yeah.
ground. So they keep doing all kinds of stuff. Um, some of the things that they have done, like you were saying, they asked me to come outside one time because I'm texting all the time, and again with Patrick and Robin, I was texting with them, and Somi asked me to go outside onto the deck.
Now, but hold on a second. Hold on a second. He told you that, or he told Robin that?
He spoke to Robin and Patrick, and then they texted me to go outside because
He wants you to go outside. Okay, yeah.
to go outside.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So it was
Mhm.
after dark, and it was kind of a drippy, cold fall day. It was uncomfortable, but I went out in my skivvies onto the back deck there and faced the direction west where they wanted me to face. And what they did was they sent these fireflies in my direction. Now, I can't say as I've seen fireflies there at that time of year because it was like late fall, but not before hunting season. It was like September something, and they sent
Yep.
these fireflies, and they just grouped together. There was like 20 of them that grouped together and was buzzing around in front of me that I could see. So they can manipulate certain critters, and they also have like certain pets, like a coyote they would have as a pet, or perhaps like a raccoon, sometimes even as big as like a cougar or something. But they can manipulate these things with their mind, or at least communicate with them and have them do certain things.
Absolutely.
And they have sent me different. They've sent me different kinds of birds. I've seen different kinds, mostly white birds. Like I had a completely albino robin they had sent.
Wow.
I had a total white pigeon, which is kind of common.
Hmm.
And then they've also sent like wild canaries. I had this wild canary that kept coming to the house, and what was unusual about it was that it kept hanging around my front door, like where that same door where I got the photograph of Somi in the image of the window, and it kept hanging around that door and hanging onto the little lips that would hold the screen door in place, or else he would come to the like one of the back windows, and it would grab on and its claws would catch in the screen, and he kept tapping on the window, which is very unusual. And that was a wild canary that they did with that. So they do all kinds of things that are along those lines. Now another one in the photos, if you look, a lot of people want to know what to gift to the forest people. Normally, I don't use food at all. I make things. If you look in the photos, there's some grass dolls that there's a half a dozen different ones that
Yeah.
I make, and I make them for the kids, and I set them on the table. Another thing that I use is polished rocks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's one that we had left over at Andrea's place, and the young lady there, she was about 8 years old at the time when when we left the doll, the grass doll, and the next time that we had gone out, the doll was gone. So naturally, it was in a public area where the doll could disappear all on its own, or anybody could come by and pick it up. Now, what was unique is that 4 years later, this little girl, her name is Radina, she says, "I left something for you." So there's the three of us were there, and
Hmm.
that's Jim, myself, and Andrea. When we went back, the doll was returned 4 years later. She
Wait a
left
minute. So
the same doll.
maybe, do you think maybe she just outgrew it? Like, like kids, they play with dolls and they don't want to play with them anymore?
She just said that she was going to return something to us, and she said that
Hmm.
she wanted Jim to have it. She says the doll contains a certain energy, and she
Oh,
wanted
wow.
Jim to
Yeah.
have it and keep it in his house. Now, what was unique is that that doll was like 4 years old. You could tell it was weathered, but it sort of looked like it was kept out of the rain. It wasn't damp or wet or didn't have mildew on it or anything. And it was almost like it was kept in a special place, but where the sunlight could hit it. But that was returned 4 years later. And in
Yeah.
turn, we had left some polished stones.
Uh, there's
That's
no
another
question. Well,
doll.
that's another one, but similar construction, right? Similar stuff?
Yeah, that's
Or,
another one that I made. I made
yeah.
up a half a dozen
Uh,
and I leave them out
yeah.
for the
I
kids.
can't, I cannot see those being left out in the elements for 4 years and coming
Right,
back looking as you described them. They had to have been
right.
put somewhere like, away from the
Yeah,
elements or something or safe.
someplace, someplace special, but it was like it was seeing daylight because you could tell by the color of the grass that it had weathered to a certain extent, but it was not out in wet weather.
Yeah.
It was dry
Yeah.
weather.
I just love your stories, Tim. It's, like so many similarities with what I've experienced and yet unique to you too, but
Right.
you can see the thread of the Sasquatch people, their love and and what they do running all the way through it, when you get to recognize who they are and whatever. But yeah, there's commonalities, but it's unique. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that a lot of people get a little confused of on gifting is the forest people do not always take the gift. However, that doesn't mean that you're rejected. The forest people seem to like the thought of being gifted more than the gift itself.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
they really appreciate you thinking about them and wanting to gift them with something, but they don't always
Yeah.
take it.
Geez, I wish I could screen share because I've got a really great gifting story where they left Sue and I two fern bouquets, like like flower arrangements, one for each of us for a gift that we left them. And
Wow.
wow, just such a heartfelt thing. Yeah, we left them a turkey dinner, right? And
Yeah.
the next day, I'm at the campground, and I got the confirmation. I just knew energetically that they had either taken it or they acknowledged it, right? This
Yep.
was the American Thanksgiving, by the way. I'm on the other side of the border. We have ours in October, but this was in November of last year, and I got they acknowledged that they had either taken it or that they appreciated it. So I knew that they acknowledged it at least. So we went back there, and in the exact spot where we had left the turkey dinner, of course, it was all gone. But two beautiful fern frond. That's like west coast of, especially British Columbia in the rainforest, fern frond bouquets. And looked like they were almost even tied together, whatever. But there was maybe five in each, and they fanned out like like this, and right beside each other, right where we left the gift. And wow, that speaks to their heart, which you would obviously know about,
Yeah.
and how loving and how much they care for us.
Yeah. You
You know,
you just reminded me of another incident because I do a lot of turkey hunting with bow and arrow, and
yeah,
I think it was 3 years ago, maybe two, 3, whatever. It was a fall turkey hunt, and because I don't particularly care for the drumsticks, I left the drumsticks for them, and I said, "This is my gift to you." and I hung it up on a nail in a tree up kind of behind the cabin there. Well, during the night, while it wasn't quite to where I'd gone to bed, but it was dark out, let's say maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night, something like that.
Mhm.
I heard this horrific roar. It was one of those loud blasts that had so much volume behind it that it's almost like it's unbelievably you wouldn't think that something could make a noise that loud, but it was a roar like of anger, and it was still early enough where I could text to Patrick and Robin, and they said what had happened was something they weren't specific as to what it was, but something had come in and was going to take those drumsticks, and the forest people didn't want them to touch it. So that was what the roar was about. It was a warning. That
Cool.
is our gift, and you are not to touch it. So exactly what had come through, I don't know. Now that leads me to
Yeah.
another incident that you just reminded me. It's like one story leads to another. Well, Patrick.
That's why let me just that's why I interrupt people all the time, because every time somebody says something,
Remind you
it reminds me of a story, like that's how. Oh no, see Beans, see this guy.
You would have a hard time finding.
Well,
You're
not
a bully.
yeah.
You like to
I mean,
bully.
not only am I rude and a bully, but I also every time somebody says something, it reminds me of a
And
story,
you're
just like you.
loud.
Yeah.
If you were soft, it would be like a soft bully.
Well, I've got that,
No, you got
that bravado and or timber in my voice.
you got operatic.
I mean,
Well, what?
hey man,
Well,
we all got
The
something,
Porky
right?
Beans opera.
The Pork and Beans Opera Show.
well, this.
Hey, I like that. We could start off. I'll sing 15 minutes of like impromptu opera. I'll just make up the words. Like I don't speak Italian. I'll just, like kind of sound Italian and just. That sounds like a great intro, man. Thanks.
So what had happened was I had invited.
You're not missing the beat, hey?
Keep going, Timothy. Keep going. Don't let
I had
Keep going before I get in there again.
Keep going.
I had invited Pat and Robin up to the property, and we were looking around, and we had spotted. And I sent you a photo, but you'd probably have a hard time finding it. It's sort of like a ground picture, and it's not clear. It's a little fuzzy, and there was actually like 3 pictures. Anyways, I had them up at the property, and we were looking into the woods, and we found this circular area, and it sort of looked like the air and the vision within that area was this circular, like about 5, maybe 6 foot in diameter. It looked like a pond that had a light breeze running over it. You know how it makes those little waves in the pond? Well, this was happening in the air and in like I say, about a 6 foot area. So what I did was I hurried up and I got my camera out and I started taking video. And as we got closer to this object, that's it. There you go, right there. That's the one. It was a portal, and what happened is we were looking at this portal, and then all of a sudden we could hear something running through the leaves, and it came out of this portal, and we couldn't see it, and it ran past us and faded into the woods. And that photo is the very last part of the video. And it almost looked like smoke or fog there in that lower left-hand corner. That is whatever it was that was coming out of that portal. Yep, that right there. Now you could hear it running, and it ran past us, and the portal like closed. And I was talking uh, through Robin and Patrick and asking Somi about this portal. And he says, yes, we use the portals to travel all over the country and the world. And there are special portals that will actually lead you to other places. And he warned me, don't go inside. He said, if you go inside, you may never come back out again. And I said, well, what the hell was that came out of it? And he said, you don't want to know. I said, well, why not? He says, well, once you give them recognition, they become your problem. And I says, well, are these good entities or bad entities? And he says, they're bad. And I says, well, I says, now you're making me nervous. I says, these portals? Well, I says, where are they? And he says, well, they like come into view and they go out of view. They come in and go out. And he says, it happens all over the place. And I says, well, if you're telling me I shouldn't go into one, I says, how the hell would I know if I was walking into one or I wasn't? And I says, I wouldn't want that to happen. And he said, well, as your guardian, I'll make sure that you never enter a portal. He says, I am your guardian and this is what I do. He says, I won't let that happen to you. And I said, well, what about these entities? I said, we got other things running around out there. And he says, oh yeah. He says, but don't pay them no attention. He says, once you acknowledge them, he says, then they can become your problem. He says, you don't want that.
Hey, we got people listening in on the YouTube thing. So can I just quickly say hello to? Well, this is a mouthful. If I get this one right, it looks like Whoizzle Shwizzle. Whoizzle Shwizzle. Sky Peterson, Christine McDonald.
Yeah.
And making a couple comments. Whoizzle Shwizzle said, I've seen a pink pigeon. And Sky Peterson said, we have a raven here that is the color of an eagle. Yeah, if anybody wants to come on on the show too, I put the link in the Pork and Bean Show. What's that?
Scott Peterson says, I love the day we don't have to deal with the Facebook crap anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I am sorry about that, but like 25 times it worked, and the last couple of times it doesn't seem to want to go on Facebook Live. But yeah, glad you found us here anyway. So anyway, Michael.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My name is Frank Oliver Beans, incognito, Michael Harrell.
Oh, I don't believe that. That Michael Harrell is. He's not nearly got the quality. He's not nearly the quality of individual that you are. I think that's a nasty rumor. That guy, that Michael Harrell guy, I don't like to talk bad about people, but he isn't. He's nothing like you.
So Timothy and I happen to have something, and Sam Chandler. We actually happen to have something in common, and that is we all do Heartlight meditation.
I was just going to bring that up.
So you got one of the best stories. I mean, Sam's was like off the chain good. Brian has had like a spontaneous. He doesn't do the meditation, but he's had this great heart thing where his heart opens up and everything. But I wish you would take all the time you need to go into detail about your experience with Heartlight meditation.
Can I first say why I don't do it? Because I can't meditate. I tried for like 2 hours last night. I just nothing works for me.
You got the grace of angels and fairies and stuff. Don't worry, you're okay. You're okay.
Oh, okay.
You got the
Thank
same
you.
results. So yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, that experience I wrote down because it turned into a vision when I was going through the meditation, and I posted it. I think it was 2 days ago there on Pork and Beans, and that was a very, very unique. Uh, it was almost spiritual vision. I've been getting these visions for a number of years now, and they keep coming more often. And as when I do have them, I write them down. But the one that uh, Mike was talking about is that I had I was having trouble just as you did uh, trying to meditate. It is something that just normally does not work with me. My mind is too busy. I
Right.
can't
Exactly.
keep my mind quiet. If I try to stay quiet, it's like something just keeps popping into my head. I just can't seem to do it. So I had answered a post that Mike had put down, and I can't remember exactly what it was at the time, but he said he had a method that might help me, which was this I want heart light meditation. And I had tried it. Oh, I don't know, number of times, and again it was like my mind would just keep interfering with the meditation. It was like it was
Right.
blocking it out, and I couldn't
I
do it.
feel you.
So one morning I tried it after I had just woke up, and I thought, well, maybe I can give this a try. And I started going through the mantra, and I was trying to be as focused as I could to listen to my own breathing and to be conscious of the breath going in and down into the lungs and out again, repeating the mantra over and over and over. And then I started to get a vision that went along as I was getting the mantra. And what first appeared was an image of my heart. And again, it's one of those very crystal clear, very sharp images. And it seemed to be a beating heart that was surrounded by blackness, but I could see the heart perfectly lit in all directions in very three-dimensional view. As I was going through the mantra, I was picturing a change in that heart as it was beating. It started to collect like a golden light, and the golden light went into the heart that I was viewing, and I'm like viewing it from above in 3D. And it started to change, and I sent two photographs, one of like a normal heart and one a picture of the golden heart. If Mike goes through the photos, he might be able to find them in there. But anyways, as the vision continued, I got more and more of this golden light, and it filled the heart, and it filled every cell, every vein, everything. And then it started to like glow. And then shortly after everything was glowing and the heart's beating, and this light is just beaming these golden light everywhere. Then I seen like a cylinder that looked like a molten rock that went around the top of the heart. It kind of encapsulated the heart. There you go. And this cylinder was spinning slowly, very slowly, and it looked like lava rock, but very thin. But I could see flames coming out of this cylinder that surrounded the heart from top to bottom, and it was moving in a clockwise direction. And the flames that were coming out of the cylinder were kind of like uh, pushed back a little bit because it was moving slowly. Then I started to get more of the vision as this heart was beating, and more energy kept filling it. And I thought to myself, I need to create a barrier. For some reason, I got the impression I needed to create a barrier. And the forest people had shown me years before how to project an energy barrier. And you have to like think it into existence. And it comes out of the solar plexus area. And it's like a super bright white light. And you can project it out and then swing it around yourself, and it becomes like a sphere or a bubble. So when I
Is it for
project,
protection?
yes, it's a
Is it
form
for
of
protection?
yes, it's
Great.
protection, and it will keep out like negative energy or negative entities, whatever's out there. Because
Yeah.
when you're like in that zone, and it's all total blackness, it becomes like a light in a dark room, and it attracts all manner of things. And so I projected this out, and then the vision continued. So I had that cylinder around the beating heart that's beaming out all this bright light. And then what came in, it looked like an Aztec type carving of these little robust, kind of very full-figured men. And I can't remember now exactly how it was, whether they had their arms folded or whatever. But anyways, they looked like rock carvings. And they started coming in and they started connecting shoulder to shoulder. And then they encircled that cylinder, which encapsulated the heart. So it was like a wheel within a wheel.
Wow.
And
Yeah. Wow.
and then I got this impression that I needed to get, because the forest people had kept telling me that I needed to feel and think through my heart. So in this vision, what I did was I took my my physical brain and I was able to like push it into the heart. And then what I did was I took my eyes three-dimensionally, and I was able to push the eyes into the heart so I could see and think through the heart. Then I was able to move my ears into my heart, and then lastly my hands. So I got all the senses within the heart. And then after that, it turned into there was like a very loving thing going on, and this angel appeared. Had long gold hair and was dressed in all white robes, and it had sandals on, and it had this sword that it carried at the ready. And this angel was, it seemed like he was a guard of some sort to keep the negative energy or whatever was there, to keep it away. And then that came into the heart. And then everything started to change after that. I seen an image of the Christ, and it came into that glowing heart with all this other action going on, the little stone Inca carvings, the flame of what looked like lava in a cylinder around the heart. So all these things started coming into the heart, and it kept expanding and expanding. And then I got the feeling I needed to bring my family into the heart. And in addition to that, I had the feeling that because the forest people had told me at another time that I was able to move positive energy and healing energy to whoever and however I wanted. So as these people, my family, started coming to me, I was able to give them this energy. And as they came into my heart, it seemed I could feel wasn't anything that was said, but you could feel that whatever their ailments were or whatever their problems whether it be monetary or whatever issues they had. The problems that they had was lessened to a substantial amount, and whatever healing they needed, they seemed to get this. And it was a steady march of people, all my family. And then it went from my family to my friends, then from my friends to my Facebook associations and people like that.
Can I stop
And
you
they
for one
all kept,
second? Let me just
sure.
stop you for 1 second. When you said that they got the healing, or what, like they told you after the fact, or it was just like what you saw
No,
in?
it was a feeling that you had.
Okay,
They gave you a feeling that they were better off or were satisfied in some way, that they had some sort of relief. It wasn't a word spoken, but it was a
right.
feeling. It was a feeling.
And
It was a
and this doesn't diminish it at all, because but I'm just wondering. Amazing story. It doesn't. It's not a reflection on it because it's amazing. But did any of these people after the fact tell you that things changed for them?
no.
Or okay,
It kept
that's
expanding.
fine.
It kept
Yeah.
expanding, which was the odd thing. And it went
Okay.
from people I knew to like Facebook friends, and then their animals, their pets, and so forth that had ailments and things that were wrong. They started coming into this heart, and they had some sort of relief from whatever it was that they had. And then it kept expanding. And then I got like a picture of the entire earth, which seemed to come into the heart. And once the earth came into the picture, I had a feeling that I was being what you'd call grounding. You know how, like, if you go outside in your bare feet, you're grounding yourself so that you're polarized. Well, I was in my bed at the time, and I started getting a tingling feeling that went through my feet and started going up my legs, and then it started to go in through my entire body. The tingling was so intense that it kind of buckled my knees. And then once the earth came in, let me see if I'm getting out of sync with the story a little bit. After my friends came, then I started seeing politicians and people from around the world. And I was thinking at the time, wait a minute, some of these politicians are crooked. They shouldn't be here. And then I got a voice that I could hear, and it said, "We are all one, the good and the bad. We are all one." And then I believe the earth came into it, and then it expanded beyond that, and I started seeing these different types of aliens, some tall, some short, some were blue in color, some were avian types, but there was no reptilians of any kind. And they started coming into this. And I got the impression that all these different aliens wanted to help in some way, but they didn't say anything, but they gave the impression they wanted us to ask them for help, and they were there if we wanted it. And I kept getting more and more things into it. Then the forest people came in to this picture with the aliens and the whole world and all these people, and they all started saying, "We are all one. We are all one."
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It,
then
yeah.
it just
Sounds
kind of
like
stopped.
Yeah.
yeah. I had when I had that loves app, that was my kind of eureka, all one kind of moment. But the message is so consistent of all one, all connected.
Yes, and there
Yeah.
was so much love in it. It
However
became
it's
very
delivered.
emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
It became
Yeah.
very
However it's
emotional.
delivered, whatever the delivery vessel, or it's always consistent. And yes, it is very emotional. When I had mine, I was literally weeping, like, "Ah!" like making sounds and everything. It was so emotional. But with mine, it was more like an instant download and a knowing. But yeah, wow, incredible,
And
Tim,
it's
Yeah.
I've had all
incredible.
those experiences. Not
Well, you've had
not
everything.
necessarily at the same time like you had, but it is those similar kind of experiences. Like almost every time I meditate with heart light meditation, I can see the whole earth. And I remember one not just a few days ago, like a week ago, that what I did is I was watching videos of the forest people, watching the videos. That's what I do, and listen to people's stories. And then I was doing my heart light meditation, and then the earth came into view. And then so I reached out and grabbed. What I would do is I would find a Sasquatch, I would find a friend, and I would start bringing them into my heart, right? So I'd start bringing them in, and then I had a whole bunch, and they were around me, and I just held hands, and I just envisioned the whole earth surrounded by the Sasquatch people holding hands. And this is just one. This is just one. I've had many of these things, but this one was really nice. So, and we were just kind of giving the whole earth like this love zap, like a cleanse. Like you want to clean the negativity, and you do that by giving it love and energy. And when we did that, so I'm connected to all the Sasquatch on the planet at this one moment, right? And then out of nowhere, out of this is the Earth floating in space and darkness, right? And then behind the Earth came this angel that was so gigantic that it was able to wrap wings that covered around the whole Earth. And I just thought, wow. And the feeling was, wow. But just to give you a frame of reference, the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita talks about when you're able to feel the pain of all the people on earth and all the animals on earth and the whole earth itself. They say, when you're able to feel that within you, that is the beginning of consciousness. And so I just given you that as a point of reference that it's a very deep centered, but it's a very high state of consciousness to be connected to all beings in the all one, because that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Hey man, Mr. Beans, you would be very proud of me. I'm actually interacting with the people on Facebook. I mean on YouTube,
Good, okay.
messaging back and forth as I'm listening.
Sweet.
talent.
I'm growing, Beans. I'm growing. I'm growing.
You're doing really good.
And
Hey, I wanted to wait a minute.
anyone that wants to see that story, I had written it out after I had that vision, and I did post it to Pork and Beans. So anyone who wants to review that story, it's posted there in very fine detail.
The Pork and Beans Show group on Facebook.
Yes.
I know what I wanted to ask you, Beans and Tim. So first of all, I'll start with Tim. So you said you had a hard time meditating, like
Yeah.
myself. Couldn't turn your mind off. So and you also, if I heard you right, you said you tried the heart light meditation before and then gave up on it for a bit and then tried it again.
I just kind of use it off and on, and since I kind of got reminded of it again, I'm going to try and do it some more to see where it might go or how I might be able to
Okay.
utilize it.
Okay, but you tried it maybe 3 or 4 times and then all of a sudden something happened.
It was probably over about a 3-week period of time, and yes,
Okay.
I finally was able to get into it like I had hoped I could. I wasn't expecting it at the time. It just sort of happened. I was in the zone, you might say.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you what, Beans, you post.
When the breath gets taken over by itself, in other words, you're not really doing it anymore. That's when the grace comes. So the whole idea is just to be in the ballpark. You don't have to. Doesn't matter whether you're thinking or not thinking. If you're just doing the actions, at some point, like maybe it's down the road, the Sasquatch or the angels or somebody come in there and start breathing you and start giving you that experience and start huffing and puffing and all kind of stuff's happening. And that's really what it is. It's just like, they say rowing your boat. Just keep rowing the boat, and Go to the
Soon
front.
it'll happen.
You made a video on it, right? You made a video on it, right?
I have a video.
On how to do it.
Yeah.
Can you share it with share it on my YouTube and wherever, because I'm actually gonna start trying it again. I'm gonna
He
try it
attached
every
it to
night for a
my
while.
he attached it to my story in the comments on the story about that
Yeah,
I was telling
yeah,
him
I
the
have it.
vision.
I have it on
So Mike can
Oh,
put it on there.
in the pork and bean show. Okay,
Yep.
okay, I'll look it up there. Okay, for sure.
It's in the
I mean,
comment
here's the
section.
here's
I
the
wanted
thing.
to say
Here's the thing about heart
say
is when you're little, right? The first thing that happens to you is you start to breathe. You're born, you breathe, right? The word for spirit in Greek means breath. So when you connect your mind, right? When your mind goes down to the feeling of the sensation of your breath in your mouth, the coolness of the air in your mouth, right? That connects your mind to your spirit, right? And then when you follow it down, the coolness, the sounds, the feelings, the sensation, the coolness down to your throat and down to your heart, right? When it gets to your heart and you can feel that little buzz in your heart going, that's called the Holy Spirit. And that's a really cool thing. And whenever you're in your heart, you can't sin. It's impossible to sin. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that
so.
out there.
Tim, you were saying early in that heart light meditation, you felt like you wanted to send out energy or something. Is that what you were saying, or love, energy?
Well, the forest people told me it was an ability that I had. Uh, like some people can like lay their hands on other people and heal them, or you have some people
Right.
who have the ability of telekinesis, or some people who can remote view. It was just an ability that they said that I had, that I could give anyone healing energy or positive energy to whoever and however I wanted to. So I utilized it within this framework to try
Yeah.
to have something positive come out of it.
But that's interesting because early on, I guess 2012 or whatever, when they connected my girlfriend and we had a lot of energy going back between us, and I was practicing sending her energy and sending, and because I knew of the all one, all connected, I was practicing sending loving energy to the universe and stuff like that, and it felt like I was making some progress, but I gotta kind of get back into that again because I kind of moved on. But I think that's
And we
something we
get
should be
caught
doing
up
all
in
the
life.
time, really.
We get caught up in
Well,
life
I just get caught,
and then you
not
kind of
life so
forget.
much. It's no, it's more about the next lesson, or they're taking you another place, a new understanding, a different thing, whatever. But
The whole point
in
of it,
retrospect, I'm
is when you, as soon as you get your conscious mind down into your heart, and your heart, you feel that buzz, then the Sasquatch can see you, the angels can see you, the ascended masters can see you, the gods can see you. And this, my friends, is a good thing. You know what I mean? You can't see, you may not be able to see them, but they can see you. And then that gives them the doors open for them to come for healing, to come for wisdom, to come for help, to come for whatever. They can see you, and then they do.
wait a minute. You
That's the
mean they
whole
can
point.
see me in my jockey shorts right now?
No, they see your heart, so don't worry about it.
They don't care about the jockey shirts.
They just care about your
now,
heart.
now it's interesting that this was the technique basically that the forest people said how to communicate with them is that
Right.
you have to see, think, and feel through your heart.
Right.
And then
Absolutely.
you can do it. Then you can do it.
Well, I think I've actually been doing that subconsciously for quite a long time because
Possible.
I'm very heartfelt and emotional and think with my heart. I think a lot of us do it. We don't realize it, too,
Now,
to some degree.
an interesting thing that my guardian told me. He said, "You'll understand this more when you become spirit." So, in other words, in the
Yeah.
afterlife, he said, apparently a lot of things will open up to us once we have passed out of this life to the next, because the spirit lives forever.
And the spirit is
You
in
know,
your
I don't know. Have you experienced? Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced this, Tim? When I was in that love vibration, that highest vibration, I it wasn't like a whole lot of details were going around in my brain. As a matter of fact, my brain was actually pretty quiet, but it was like I just it was like an all knowing. I just knew. I just felt like I knew everything, but it wasn't important. You know what I mean? Does that ring a bell with you?
Yes, because in that state, it's like my mind was no longer busy. It was more laser focused on just that one subject at the time. The uh, we are all one
Yeah, it's like I
mantra,
didn't
or
have to know the details because
everything.
I knew them, but I didn't have to think about them. Kind of. That's
You
kind
just
of hard to
knew.
explain. Yes, I just knew.
Yeah,
And
you just know. Yeah.
the other benefit, which is how I got to initiate it into that meditation. The other benefit of the side effect of this is if you can get your whole body to glow, then you go invisible. And that's the way it works. And that's the reason why they gave it to me is they're saying this is how we go invisible. This is how we connect.
Yeah, you raise your vibration, raise it up, and then you
just
can
you
fade
just
right
feel
out.
that vibration in your body, and you know you send it down to your feet and into your pelvis or up to the top of your head, and you just get it all. So, because believe it or not, once you do it, you realize that you don't have energy going into your arms or your knees and stuff all the time. Only when you do intense physical activity. So mostly we're just in this little column right here where we breathe, but then you can breathe more and deeper. Yeah, but you can go invisible. I mean, I haven't been able to go completely invisible, but with the help, like I said, with the help of being breathed by the Sasquatch people, uh, they got me going real hard like a bellows, really loud, really hard for like about like 3 or 5 minutes. I was like, whoa, and I got so scared, like I sat up, and when I sat up, my feet were there, right? And I looked at my knees, and I only had one knee. My whole my whole left leg was gone. I could see the bed right through it, And then, like in a blink of an eye, it came back, and you don't feel it. You don't feel that. The Sasquatch do not feel going invisible. They just shift, and it's just like I'd say in one word to the next. So that's fun, that they're actually teaching us how to go invisible, how to stay in our heart. They're teaching us these things, how to send love around the world, and they're teaching us these things. That's
absolutely. You know what my dream is now. Now that you've mentioned that, is to see you go invisible for the entire show.
oh, really hard. What's this? Boonsy, boonsy, boo.
No, yeah, that's incredible stuff. Yeah, I'm going to start doing it again. I'm going to just do it and do it and do it and do it until at least for 2 or 3 weeks every night, see what happens.
The secret is your mind comes, right? So if you're connected to your breath, just let the mind come, and then you just stop and start with the feeling it in your mouth again. It's working. When your mind's going crazy, it's working. So you're in that chaos, you just go to the simple thing and pay no attention to how crazy your mind is. Don't even worry about
Well,
it.
maybe
Well,
that's what my problem is.
it's absolutely
Because
no
I start
control.
no, because I start thinking about it and I said, I'm thinking too much and nothing's happening and I just give up.
That's when it's working. Look, think of it this way. That's when it's working. Think of it this way. Do you have a problem watching TV for like some show you like?
Do I have a problem?
Yeah. Just
No,
watch it.
none of it's Hockey Night in Canada. I can watch the whole thing,
Well, there you go.
the whole show, right from the first to the second, third period, all the way through.
It's like that. As soon as you go meditate, you forget that you're really just watching the show, and the show is watching your energy in your body. That's the show, and your mind goes crazy because it thinks it's being usurped. Usurped. So it's as easy as watching a video. So you just have to realize that to feel the energy in your throat and your body, and you feel it into your heart, and then move it down in your belly or move it up to the top of your head, or whatever, however you play with it, or whatever visions come. That's your,
However, oh, wait a minute. Hey, you can't say that on this show.
however your visions come.
No, the other part.
What other part?
I'm not even going to say it again.
Move it down to your belly.
No, no, I'm not going to say it. It's lewd, rude, crude, and not worth repeating. It just shows you where my mind is. Yeah, the Groucho Marx eyebrows for that one for sure.
Well, I got another story for you if you want to hear
Thanks,
it.
it was great. No,
And
I've always wanted to say that.
Stop interrupting our guests. We know you're the big shot. You're my hero. So
but it has to do with the forest people in the pictures. You just kind of remind me of another issue. Uh, you know how the forest people don't take very good pictures for the most part, other than maybe Gimlin film and a few very rare ones. It was a question that I had posed to my guardian. I said, why is it that the forest people don't like their picture taken? Why is that? And his answer to me was, because anytime you do get a photograph of us and other people view that photo, we feel the emotion of the viewer and we don't like what we feel. In other words, if you're looking at a picture of a forest person, Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, and then you have in your mind, you have a picture of a monster or something evil, they feel that emotion and they don't like it. So, in addition to that, when I asked him that question and he posed it to me, now he was able to send me emotions. I don't know if any of you have experienced that before, where they send you emotion. Okay, what he did
Oh,
was he sent me the emotion of like anger. He sent me the emotion of fear. He sent me several different emotions, and I could feel what he was feeling. And that was really unusual. And then the very last thing he did was he sent me the emotion of love. And I never felt so loved before. The
yeah,
only thing that came to mind was that I could only imagine that kind of love coming from God Himself. It was so
yeah.
powerful.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing that made me like
that's
weep,
who they are.
burst into tears.
That's who they are.
Yeah, yeah. That's who they are.
When I
But
say they're archangel earth spirits, it means that they are able to produce that kind of divine love and connection that only an archangel or God himself could, or Jesus or somebody like that. They're tapped into that all one, and which is love.
I never felt
By the
love
way,
like that before. Never in my life. It was so,
no.
so
Did
emotional.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. Well, at least from my
Keep going,
experience of it. I mean, it might have been
keep
exactly the
going, Tim.
same, but
You got it. You got this. Keep telling them the story, Tim.
hey, wait a minute. I got a comment. I got a comment from somebody here. Quickly.
Okay. Stuff your feelings,
Who
Tim.
Schwizzle? No, Tim can continue for sure. I want to hear the rest of it. But who Schwizzle? I'm just gonna call her who. I'm assuming it's a lady. Who says the light heart meditation changed her life? So that's good. So must be some powerful healing or some powerful connection there. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, it does give you a different perspective and a different view when you go through that and you actually make that connection. It's quite powerful. After I had stopped the vision, or the vision had stopped, that vibration, that grounding vibration that I had got through my entire body that caused my knees to buckle, after the vision stopped, that sensation stayed with me for probably 15 minutes afterwards. I could still feel that kind of a I don't know, it was kind of like an electrical buzz through my entire body.
That's real.
Oh,
That's real.
yeah. Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
very unique.
Yeah.
I'm so
So
glad
I'm
you're talking about all this
Absolutely.
stuff because I'm so glad you're talking about all this stuff because people need to know that they're not wood apes, they're not monsters.
no,
They're
there are
very high
people.
beings. They're very grounded, very conscious, very considerate, and they're able to teach and give incredible experiences that only some of the highest masters on earth can do.
I want to mention one thing now that came back to my thought about the pictures. Actually, I got a pretty good picture of RE. He's partially cloaked, mind you, but it's dead obvious, and most people can see it. Um, and with that picture, when I show people and start talking about him, they usually feel the connection with him,
Cool.
through the picture or whatever. So I don't think there's a cut and dry thing where they don't. I mean, sometimes they will allow their pictures to be taken. Another thing is that if you ask permission respectfully, they'll quite often they'll just show up. But yeah, for some reason that picture of RE connects people when I show it to them. He starts connecting with them. So either I guess he can deflect the negativity or whatever, or it's in a different, I want to say format. I'm not sure how you would say that, but in any event, um, he allowed that picture, and it's working with people through that picture. So I guess there's always different scenarios or whatever, although it is rare. Yeah, I have heard that what you said, that and I believe that it would affect them, the negativity people think when they look at it like they're monsters and stuff. I can see that, but in this particular case, it's serving a different purpose. So
Yeah, I think what's going on is they seem to be enjoying a time with us now. I don't know if you've picked up the energy level that the force people seem to be giving out, but the last year, the people that Andrea Billups knows, Jim Silsby knows, and I know, those groups or clans have been starting to ask us to start taking photographs. Now, they don't say where to point the camera, but they say just to start taking pictures now. And some of those photographs that I'd sent, I had a couple that were circled there with forest people. You can see through them, but you can see their image. They're not the greatest in the world because they never are, but because they're sort of translucent, you can see them. But they're starting to be more engaging with us to permit us to see them now. At least that's my impression.
yeah. Who says, I feel you, Tim? Thank you. And Christine McDonald says, well said, Tim. I felt that love. And wow, it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So go ahead, tell us another story or something you want to share.
But you're gonna have to give me some things to think about so I can relate to another story. I'm running out.
Oh, okay.
Let's go back to gifts again a little bit. I sent
Okay.
you a photograph of a circle of white rocks.
Okay.
The circle of white rocks, I had just gotten up to my property and I was looking out over my deck and I looked straight down and I took the photograph of this circle of rocks. They were all white rocks, and it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2 foot in diameter. And as I normally do, I got on to texting with Pat and Robin, and I said, what is the meaning of this circle of rocks? And the forest person, they didn't tell me the name. Either I forgot to ask or it was never brought up. Anyways, I said, what is the meaning of the circle of rocks? Because it's a type of glyph, right? So they said the circle of rock means it's a friendship between you and us. And it's a circle because it's never ending friendship.
Yeah, I think my interpretation of it is connection, which is basically what you said.
Yeah, which is a connection. But I asked them specifically, well, what is the meaning of this? And they said, it's the never ending friendship, the circle of friendship, never ending.
Yeah.
And they do leave glyphs, and you have to kind of ask them because it's not clear to us exactly what it means.
Yeah.
I sent you a photograph of a small stick that has like 2 branches off of it. It's got like, and when I first seen it, it reminded me of a deer antler, where you have the main beam and then you have a long tine and another long tine. And so I had asked about that. I said, what is the meaning of this? And I said, because it looks like a deer antler to me. And the response back was, the trail that you found this on is used by the deer and yourself. And then if you take and turn that stick sideways so that it comes up with 2 branches, it looks like a person walking. So sideways, it looks like the deer antler, and turn the other direction, it makes it look like a person walking. And that I sent
but
you that
there's one
photograph.
there's one undeniable fact, at least to me, that they've taught me, because they started teaching me with glyphs. Like that was an intense education. Glyphs were a big part of my lessons or whatever. And glyphs, the meaning of a glyph is personal between you and them. It's a mental telepathic connection. They will start communicating with you through glyphs according to what you think they mean, and they will pick up on that.
Another interesting photo that I had sent you is there's a picture with 2 sticks, sort of like here, and 2 sticks here. And I had asked them, well, what does that mean? Because it looked like basically a square, or like if you were playing X's and O's kind of a thing. Yeah.
You know what? I've seen that exact glyph. That's where I wanted Beans to bring it on. I've seen that exact glyph a few times here.
And it had a little.
Oh, as a matter of fact, Tim, as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. Yeah. It looked like a tic-tac-toe thing, right?
A little bit.
I actually put the tic-tac-toe thing. I put something in there like I was playing it, and they moved it.
Oh, cool.
So
now
I was thinking this.
That I caught the picture of, they had the extensions were rather short, where it was more of a square outline with just the ends kind of sticking out. And I had asked them, well, what does this glyph mean? And they said it was a map. Now, if you were to look at my property, and turn it in the proper orientation, that little bend in the stick, it represents the bend in the road out on the county road. Because I have sort of like a dog leg in the road, and it pretty much matches up to that, what they called a map.
Yeah. Some of them are very deliberate, like maps, for sure. I've seen map, but sometimes they will also give you a glyph of what they depict you doing or whatever, because I've had that as well.
Yeah, that's what that antler represented, that we walked the same path. And that was their.
Right. So let me tell you a story about a quick circle story. I had a gathering up here a couple of weeks ago, invited some people up, right? And that this one guy, they connect everybody who comes up here. There's a reason for it, and it's not just here. They have a reason for connecting people and a reason why people are at a certain place at a certain time. I'm not saying, even though this is a special place up here, I'm not like saying it just happens here. It's common. But if you're there, you're supposed to be there. And this guy, I was showing him the fire pits, I call them, the round circle, and in these round circles, quite often there's little peel sticks that crisscross, and sometimes they just do them simply to imitate what they see people doing. A fire. They're just drawing what they see people doing, and I won't get too much into it, but I have proven that to myself from when I was camping and stuff. But in any event, so I showed this guy that, and he put a circle by his tent, and this guy's only been at it for a month or so. His sister is much more further along, but he put a circle by his tent of rocks with the peel sticks in it to depict the fire pit. But the circle, like you said, and I don't think our meanings are really all that different. I think it's the circle of connection, but friendship, that's all encompassed in it. It's basically the same meaning. So I look at it as a circle of connection or friendship, sure, because that's all part of it. But anyway, so he left that glyph there, and the day before he left, one of the big rocks that formed the circle was taken out and put outside the circle. And then he put that rock, the guy's named Gary, picked that rock up and put it back in the circle. And then I figured out what it meant. It's the rock represented the individual who was there. He put it outside of the circle and invited Gary to put the rock back into the circle and invite that friendship or that connection. And now he's had some experiences with circles and rock circles and whatever, even since he's gone home like 2 weeks ago. So it's amazing how they work with people and how they, that message, like connection,
Yes, and
friendship.
It seems like they deliberately connect us to other people. It's like we don't meet people by accident within our little SASQUATCH group. It seems like they deliberately connect us.
Doesn't seem like it. It's a fact. I think you know that. It's a fact, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
There's just
happen
no
by
question
accident.
about it.
There's no accident,
No. As a matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of coincidence anymore. Like you start seeing all these, looking back on things happening in your life, and much more clarity. There's not a lot of coincidence going on. Yeah. So, Mr. Beans.
Hello, everybody.
Your time to say something.
I'm sorry I abandoned you. I had to go to little men's room, and then Fort Cunningham took over the show.
Tim wants us to give us some reminders so that he can.
What I want to do is talk. We talked about portals. We talked about invisibility. We talked about love zap. We talked about the very high stuff, and I want to talk about the lights you see at night. You've got some great, fantastic pictures. So let me see if I can bring some up, and you can talk about the lights, because I've never seen lights like this before. I've seen a lot of orb lights. I've seen a lot of rods, but you've got a great selection. You feel like doing that?
Yeah, I got pictures of rods. I've got pictures of different kinds of orbs. And the ones that you're talking about there are, the forest people told me they were spirits that are coming up off of ley lines that go below the property. The ley lines tend to run north and south. And the forest people said the ley line colors is blue.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's why sometimes some of these pictures have that kind of a bluish hue to it or not. And you
Wow.
can see by a lot of these pictures, they're going in different directions all at the same time. Like in this one here, one is coming up and then it zooms to the left. There's some that are coming down. There's other that looks like they're coming up from out of the ground.
Is that, Tim, on this particular one, is that object in the middle that's really bright, is that a piece of branch or stuck in the ground, or is
That
it
one
a,
might be. It's hard to tell sometimes because I don't have a photographic memory as to
okay,
what was there. It sort of looks like it is a
that one,
trail.
yeah,
It looks like a trail rather than a branch.
yeah, but
Now,
that
the other
big
thing
beam
that
coming
you
down
see
doesn't
on
look
there,
normal.
no,
Go ahead.
but if you look there at the ground cover, there's like stratified lines. Can you see them
Yes,
lightly in there? Like
yeah,
separations.
yes.
Now, I think there's some sort of energy that is coming up out of the ground. Now, in some of the pictures, the lines become very thick. They almost become bars or bands of energy. And they don't go through the entire picture, or it doesn't appear to go through the entire picture, but it does seem to follow the trees or the ground. And I tried to get Adam Davies to come out and see if he could figure out what the hell was going on there. And I actually, would like to have an actual scientist come out and look at some of this stuff to see if they can figure out what they can tell from past experience, or what does science tell them on these photographs,
I don't know if that can
because
be answered by
they are,
conventional science. I don't know. I'm not so
perhaps, I
sure.
don't know. Um, or maybe not. But like I said, my guardian told me they are spirits that come from the ley lines that go below the ground and run north south on the property. I've got something in the neighborhood of 3,500 pictures like this, and it was only this last year that I got the orbs in a stationary picture. And these here, like with the lights on the top and to the right, I have absolutely zero idea what that is or what it is from. Now, my cameras, my trail cameras are infrared cameras, and they also have motion detectors. Now, typically, raindrops do not set the camera off. It has to have some kind of heat energy and movement before the photos will snap. So
Oh my God.
I've had pictures with what I call rods going through there. Yeah, that's
Hey,
a
go back to
stationary
that
one.
last pic. Go back to that last picture there, Beans. I just had something happen.
Go back to the last picture.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can. I'll try
yeah. Okay, well, whatever.
this one.
Now that's a rod.
These
Okay,
guys
now
make the
No,
there's
last
okay,
picture.
whatever. I just saw a Sasquatch face like fully, really, really clearly in that one picture. But
they
just like, wow.
they do show up from time to time, and strangely enough, I never find them myself. I have other people point them out to me.
No, but it was like it just materialized. It wasn't there and then it was. It was weird. Uh,
I saw one
it could have
too.
been pareidolia, I guess, or whatever they say. But yeah, I wish you could find that picture again, but
Pareidolia, yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter.
If the pictures are
Because,
okay, I don't care. This is a nice one with that light coming down from the top.
Yeah, beam of light from I don't know where. Have no idea.
try to find it there, Beans, or at least go through them. And just continue talking if I see it, but go through the pictures if we see it again.
I've been looking back there because
I think it was the one with that foliage he was talking about. You saw the ground and stuff. And
Yeah,
wow, look at that.
I've got about 3,500 of these pictures like this.
Well, it sounds to me like you do a lot of this kind of stuff, and with me, I've got like
There's a rail for you, or a rod.
on unlimited pictures of
Now,
cliffs or whatever. So
now
yeah,
like
this is
this
cool.
one here with this rod or rail, whatever you want to call it. Now I've had people say, "Well, that's just a shutter picking up a bug flying in the night sky," and I said, "Well, I might tend to agree with that. However, this photograph was taken like November 30th. I said the temperature was in the 20s. Now, there are no bugs that I know of in Michigan that fly below 40 degrees in an outside temperature. It was 20 degrees out. So
Yeah.
that's why I call it what I see is a rod or a rail photograph. It's not.
Well, you know what? Just the evidence is so overwhelming and so compelling that, we could be mistaken on one particular thing, and what difference does it
I
really
mean,
make?
you
Right?
can't
Right.
call this one bugs. I mean, this is not bugs.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like debating one little particular aspect of one picture
Well, see, like
is cool.
I've had people say, well, those are just nothing more than raindrops, and it's the refraction
No,
of light that makes it flip the direction. Because these are, when you look at this photograph, they're coming up from the ground. It's not falling down like raindrops.
right. Interesting observation. Absolutely true. Yes.
So, I mean, there's the one you wanted there.
Oh, this one?
Oh, well, yeah.
You
No,
just,
yeah.
there it
I
is.
think so.
Yeah,
Go back.
that's it. That's it. Now, where did you see the Sasquatch?
Yeah. His face material, and I don't see him now. He's gone again. But you see how
He might have been projected.
the big one beam. Yeah, yeah. You see how one beam is coming down
Yep.
Well, the beam that's coming down.
Yep.
You see where it's hitting the trunk
Yep.
of the tree?
Yep.
I saw the face materialize maybe just to the right, and yeah, move your cursor down, Beans, to the right of the tree. Go up, slowly. Right of the tree. That's left. Right there. Right around it, up a bit. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I just saw it materialize, and now I don't see it now. But it just came like through really, really clearly, and then it was gone. Interesting.
Well, see, that it could
That
be
was different.
It could be that the forest people are projecting this image to you.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Of course.
It's hard
Of course.
to say. It's hard to say. We have to just try to make sense.
No, I mean, I understand the phenomenon and I know it's possible, but I'm just saying I don't think I've ever experienced that before. It's just like the face, okay, anyway.
But a lot of those photographs that I had originally, when I took them off the trail camera, I was going through them and I kept deleting them, and there was hundreds of them. Then they had these stratified lines going across the bottom, and as from the bottom as you went up to the top, the stratified lines kept getting thinner and thinner and thinner. I think I sent a couple of them, but I might not. Now there's a one in the daylight. So now, how would a daylight picture show you a drop of rain or a bug or something in that photograph?
Yeah.
I find it hard.
I saw that right away. Yeah.
And that's daylight. And
I mean, just looking at your pictures as a general comment. I mean, anybody with two functioning brain cells can see it's not natural occurrences in many of them. According to our definition of natural occurrences, it's not raindrops. It's not.
Myself is the simplest reason is probably the true one. I don't have any problem with that, but I've had so much experience with the forest people and very odd things happening that I will accept my guardian's explanation, saying that those are spirits coming up from the ground. Now he wasn't specific whether
that makes more sense.
Now that was the big arch.
That makes more sense for me. Yeah, that makes more sense to me than raindrops, because that was not raindrops. Okay, big arch.
This is one where the lines are thick at the bottom and they're thin out at the top.
The stratification is a little more evident there. And can you see
Yeah.
where it gets to the tree in this case and it kind of stops? How do you explain that? I'm not sure.
So you've got, like you said, thousands and thousands and thousands of these pictures. What are they trying to tell you with them? Are they giving you any information? Are you learning anything from them? What do you think it's about?
No, I don't know. Other than they just said they were spirits. But when you
Okay.
look at this picture here, you can see they're moving in all different directions, and raindrops wouldn't do that.
No. We can get off the raindrop thing. That's not.
And like I
That is
was
not
saying,
raindrops.
basically my camera does not do photographs in the rain. It doesn't pick them. It doesn't
Yeah.
pick them up. Otherwise, I'd have hundreds of thousands of pictures.
I mean, this kind of stuff happens. I mean, I've got a.
Look at the stratification there. Look at that stratification there, up in the.
Oh yeah.
And everything's going different directions. How do you explain that?
Yeah, exactly. I've got a picture in a perfectly sunny day. Well, maybe a little overcast, but middle of the day, of a blue beam coming down from the sky and hitting me. So, these things are real. These things are real.
Yep.
I'll tell Tim. I'll tell you the story behind that one time when that blue beam hit me. There was really, really interesting story, but I won't go into it now.
Amazing. Yeah, this one here. Go ahead.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, just amazing.
And it's like it's leaving an energy trail. Whatever it is leaving an energy trail that the camera is picking up. It's obviously whatever it is moving fairly fast, that it would leave an energy trail of some sort like that.
I'm going to share some pictures with.
Don't see.
I want to share some pictures with you, Tim, of that my girlfriend took us some orbs one time when we were together. Because I found out some really, really interesting things about them. They gave me the answer in a series of pictures.
Yeah.
And what it was to me is it looked like all these points of consciousness, all these orbs were little points of consciousness. They all came together into one being. Like his consciousness, his thoughts, we're all over everywhere, and they all form together into one being. So I'll tell you about that when we talk privately, because I've discussed it on the show, I'm sure, many, many times. But what's that?
Disgusted? Are you disgusted? I think
Yeah, I'm
so.
disgusted on the show many times. That's interesting.
That's one of my favorites. Look at that.
That almost looks like a glyph with light. That's really super interesting. Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah. That looks like just one of my glyphs, like that's extremely interesting. Beautiful stuff there. Look at that.
Yeah, is there a rod in there?
Yeah, absolutely. That one's kind of different. It's not just a straight line. It's kind of like a little bumpy or something.
Well, that's the way they all are. They have what looks like little wings or something on them, and but I can't tell exactly what the size is because you don't know the distance it's from the camera. But the deer don't seem to mind it, so it's obviously not a threat to them because they're not acting alarmed.
I wonder, like our pets and whatever, they can sense, stuff like that more than we can.
Yeah, they can.
So I'm wondering, but I'm wondering how cognizant the animals are of it that are there. I mean, maybe they don't sense it. It's interesting thing to think about.
As long as it's not bothering them, then they wouldn't have take much interest. It'd be like a butterfly flying around in the yard. We'll look at it, but as long as it ain't bugging us in any way, then we don't pay much attention to it because it's not a threat to us or anything.
Or would they see it or feel the energy kind of thing? And the other thing is that if it's just natural to them, then it wouldn't seem like anything out of the ordinary, I suppose. They'd just be used to it.
Yep. Now, again, this picture here does not have any animals in it, but yet it has to have some sort of energy or heat energy to trip the camera.
That's very interesting. Those little bumps on there. What did you
What
say you came up with?
They
what
look
is all
like
this at the
wings.
bottom? Is that like just from the flash or something?
Well, it could be, but I'm thinking it's more like what you would see like on a stingray. You know how they can move, undulate their flaps. Well, that's sort of what it gives me the impression of. It's like a long extension, and it moves in a rippling fashion.
But what I
No,
meant was
Beans was referring to down here, down there, down this area.
I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. You know.
What are you using, a Etch a Sketch? Beans?
What?
Beans, you using a Etch a Sketch?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
He's leaving a trail.
There you go.
Hi.
Oh, with a little heart on top. That was a nice touch, Beans. Once in a while, you betray your tender heart.
Oh, this is a good one.
There's another one. Yeah.
Or reveal your tender heart. Sorry. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Now those do not show up very often on the trail cam. It's only once in a rare while. But like I was saying, when they did show up, it was at the end of the month of November, where the weather is typically not above 40 degrees. You know.
And it would have to be bigger than a
Oh, that's
bug.
no-
You don't in the winter in the summertime you'd be catching bugs all night long on a thing, you know. So
Right. And I don't get that. I don't have
That's not.
I don't have tons and tons of photos that show me stuff like that in the night. And so that's why I say it must have some sort of heat energy behind it to make the camera trip and take the photograph. I mean, you can understand it if the deer are standing there and one happens to show up. Maybe it's something else. We don't know, you know. But to me, it has to have some sort of heat in addition to the movement to make the camera trip.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I only have a dozen total of those photos in a 10-year period. That reminds me of another story. Now, I don't know how you guys work with the forest people, but quite often I make requests of them. Like in this case here, before Jim Silsby, Andrea Billups, and I went on this walk in the Lansing area, the night before, I had put out the request for them to leave us a trackway. And that's exactly what they gave us.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would say that, similar. My girlfriend and I have asked them to leave us a sign or something, and then there's like an obvious cliff, like, like a no-brainer right on the path in front of us, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
And I do that often. I make requests of them. Sometimes I'll, like originally, once I started speaking with the forest people through Patrick and Robin, I would tell them that, boy, I really like your tree structures that you make. Well, within a day or two, then it's like they were everywhere. a good example was that real big archway that they had made. I asked them to leave me a tree structure, and they came up with that giant double arch that they gave us. Now
Yeah.
the arch, they took the tops of these trees. Now, what kind of power would it take to bend over, let's say, a 60-foot tall tree that's 6 inches in diameter? What kind of power does it take to bend it over and put it to the ground and then pick up a 1,000-pound log to hold the top of the tree down? Because what's
Yeah.
holding it down, the tree come in an arch, and then it had kind of like an S shape on the end with a log, a 1,000-pound log, white oak log that was probably 20 feet long and a foot in diameter to hold the top of the tree down. Now, if you look also with that, there you go. Now there's another picture that's similar to this, only slightly from a different angle, and it's got a circle in it. It's got a circle in the picture, and that circle holds a Sasquatch in it. Well, this was a different log that was, and that's another. That's what I call the tree from nowhere. But anyways, I was able to speak with the Sasquatch in that photograph that's within the circle. Now you can see the upper part of the head and the torso, and it fades into nothing. Now, he was one of the very few that refused to give me his name. But I asked him, I said, "Did you make that by yourself?" And he said, "Yes." So can you imagine the kind of power and strength that they have? Now that log that's laying over the tip of the trees, that's like over 20 feet long, and it's at least a foot in diameter, and it's white oak. Now, if my calculations are right, a square foot of oak weighs about 52 to 54 pounds, and that's 20 feet long. Now, can you imagine trying to hold down the tip of the tree and placing that log to hold the top of the tree down? What kind of strength and power would it take to do that?
Yeah. There's all kinds of examples of that. Have you ever seen them stick or shove great big sticks in the ground?
This picture's the map. The picture you just had up. That's Pat and Robin there. There's another arch.
I'm trying to get back to where it was. This one. That's the map.
I've seen that exact thing.
Yeah, that's a map.
I've seen the exact same thing.
And if you look at a map of my property, it's got that little kink in the property line. It's a dog leg in the road.
Except when I saw it, like I said, I started playing tic-tac-toe with them, and they were moving stuff around for a while. But anyway, what did I say, Tim, on your point to strength? Up here in my area, they shove these great big, like sometimes it's trees even, like big branches into the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I've seen them shoved in and common, very common. And I've seen them shoved in like up to 2 feet and stuff. And I'm, like 6'4", 215, not a powerhouse by any means, but like I'm still 6'4", and 215. And I have done demonstrations with that. And in this particular ground where they're shoving it in, I can barely make a scuff mark.
Right.
Barely make a scuff mark. I can't get it in like even a fraction of an inch. Can you imagine the strength?
You see the
involved
picture
in somebody was trying to get it.
Tim, what's this one?
You see this picture with us holding our hand in there? Now that's Patrick McRae and my brother Don. What we would find under the archway, and this was very close to where that portal was actually on the same day. You could stick your hand underneath the archway and feel a difference in the temperature. And then if you had any jewelry on, like a ring or a bracelet, you could feel it kind of tingling when you put your hand. There's some kind of energy within that archway there. And
Well,
that
it
was
could-
very
it could
close
be a
to where
por-
we had
small
found that
or
portal.
something. It could be anything, right? Ley lines or small portal or something.
Yeah, and ley lines run through my property, and the forest people said they run northwest or north-south.
Well, the forest people have said that they live in the ley lines. And in other words, when they're invisible, they're in those ley lines.
That's
So
could be. I don't know. I never
who
asked them
knows?
that.
No, that's just what I heard.
Now that's a casting from off of my property, and again that print is like 18 inches long, and that's my foot next to it. Now, I don't have very big feet. I have wide feet, but I don't have very big feet. My shoe size is only like size 8. I'm 5'10", but my shoe size is only a size 8, but it's a triple E.
That's still a 15, 16-inch
No,
print,
that's-
looks like.
I wanted to say something about this.
And that,
About this.
well, it
image
was
right here.
18 inches. Now that's the child's footprint there.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that. Is when they give a gift, a footprint is a gift. Like this is on concrete or some kind of hard material.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
just put the cement down the night before, and there's only one print, and I had put out 100 bags of cement.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is like they'll push away the rocks and the leaves and stuff, so it's obvious that it's their print there. So I've seen that multiple times where there's just a random print somewhere, but they actually move their foot around to get rid of all the rocks and so it leaves a print for you. So that to me
That's
is like
exactly what
gift.
that was. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that was.
You know what I can.
Move.
Sometimes they will actually. I've experienced many a time. They'll leave a print for you, one deliberate print,
Just
and
one.
they'll
Yep.
because I deal with gloves or whatever, I suppose they do it. You know, they'll touch with me. Sorry, my headphones. Just give me a second.
Oh, your voice sounds normal now. What happened? Did you
Yeah, I'm good now. They will leave one specific. They will leave one specific
No, you're too
print.
loud. Wait, you're too loud. Can you go back to where you were before?
Oh, hang on a minute. Better? Better?
Yeah,
That's a knife. That's a knife I made. I make knives also.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't finish my point. Hold on a second. They will leave. They will. I know Beans is trying to cut me out of the whole show today, but I'm on to you.
You're doing
No,
good.
I just wanted to say quickly that sometimes they will leave us one print, and with me because I deal with them or whatever, they sometimes they will also leave an obvious glyph right beside that print, like hello, like so.
Like a double signature.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I mean, so it's obviously meant for you. It's obviously meant for you. Oh, they leave you glyphs beside them too? Beside the footprints?
I can't say that, but quite often it's only one print. It's not a series of prints.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very common for sure, absolutely. Well, that's nice.
And then
Now, what is your meaning for the X? What is your meaning for the X?
I asked them about that, and basically they said if it's on the ground, it's a sign of welcome. And then in some case, and then that definition can change from clan to clan. It may not mean the same for my clan as it does for yours. Now, a lot of people think
it does. That's my meaning.
Don't cross this line. That's what some people say. But my clan said it's a sign of friendship and welcome.
That's wow. You said the exact same words as what I know. Yeah. It's a friendship welcome sign for me.
Yeah, that's what my clan said.
Awesome.
So, I mean, other people have different theories. Now that's a small archway.
Yeah.
That just showed up.
You think that has energy in it too, like you said?
I don't know if they all do, but some of them do.
Some glyphs have energy with them too. Yeah.
Now I had a kind of a theory, unproven, but on my property, I've got a lot of hills. And at the top of the hill is where most of the arches tend to show up. Not all of them, but the majority. Now, in the ones up at the top of the hill, many of them have that energy. Now, my theory is I wonder if it's like a playpen for their children, and the energy keeps them within a certain boundary. Just something I'm throwing
Interesting.
out there. I mean, it may not mean nothing, but that's what I'm thinking, because that's where
It's
the kids
interesting for
tend
sure.
to go. Because it's like the top of that hill where it's flattened off. It's like that's where I run into a lot of the children. So that's the theory I had. May not mean anything, but is a guess. Because it's like there's
Hey,
some kind of energy under those things. There's the one with the circle in it. If you look in that circle real close, you can see the head and the shoulders and the chest. And once you get to the chest and you start going down, it completely disappears. Now, my estimation of the height of this guy is about 14 foot, because he comes to the top of the archway. And when I stood underneath the archway, I looked like a child compared to this guy. Now, if you look real close in it, you can see the face, the head, shoulders, part of the chest. If you zoom in on it a little bit,
Yeah, I don't have.
which way is he
you can
facing?
see right through him. Now his face is facing the right in the picture, and you see the back of his head and his shoulder up against the tree there.
Yeah, I can see something.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when they're
Almost
close.
looks like almost looks like he's holding it with his hand or something too. The tree. I'm not
Well,
sure.
you can see the arm going part way down the tree, and the body fades out before the arm totally fades out.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm, yeah, kind of perceiving anyway. Yeah, interesting.
Some of the things that I look at is this whole section right here is blurry, right? But
Yes,
but
and
this
there's a lot of clarity
tree-
behind
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
tree is clear, right?
Right.
And this
Exactly.
this is blurry.
Yes.
But this part of the tree right here is clear. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And then that's where his
Well,
image
yeah. Look at the.
interferes with the photo.
when you look at, like I said, when you look down here and you
Yeah.
see it says relatively clear, but all this up here is just
Yeah.
blurry. You know, it's
Yeah.
strange.
Wow, that's
Exactly.
absolutely true. Wow,
Exactly.
that doesn't even look natural.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, that's
same
an interesting point there, Beans.
the same camera. You know, if it was motion blur, then all the ones in the foreground would be blurred the same.
Yeah, but the ones in the background
I
are
see.
crystal clear.
And this one right here is relatively clear too.
Yeah.
You know, you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
I've seen that as well, but the way you pointed it out is great. Amazing. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
yeah.
Now
Huh.
I can't tell.
I mean, it's
I can't tell
it's right
how
in your
close
face, obviously.
he is. I can't tell how close he is to my camera compared to the archway. So he may be a lot closer in perspective, which gives me the impression that he's much taller than he actually is. You know, it's hard to tell. But if he is as tall as that archway is, and they are sort of on the same plane, that would make him about 14 foot tall.
Yeah. I
But-
honestly can't see any way that picture could be like that unless there's some kind of energy vibration change in the top part. That's
And that
pretty remarkable.
photograph was taken only maybe 35, 45 seconds after I first discovered it. And the day before, the
Mhm.
archway was not there. I had made the request that, you know, hey, can you make me a tree structure? And then that showed up the next day.
This is back where we started again, since a lot of people at
Yeah,
the
the
beginning.
palm print.
This,
That's the palm print.
this is just outstanding. This is the palm right here, and this is the thumb,
Yep.
right? And
Well, I think that's part of the entire palm. I don't believe that the thumb is on there at all. I think
no,
that
well,
the entire palm.
it's this part right here of you, right? That's like
Yep.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I could not see any fingers anywhere on it.
And this is this on your car or van or something, or is it a house?
That's on. Yeah, it's on my truck.
Not much question about that.
In
I've only
fact, it's
seen that
still-
once. They did it on a, yeah.
I took that photograph, and I think that was in August, late August.
Yeah.
And what I did was I tried to preserve it and lift it off of the window, and I put some of that shipping tape on it, and I put strips over it, and I in two directions, and then I pulled it off and put it on a piece of glass. That print is still on my window, and it hasn't washed off. And I've been through a couple of gas stations where I run a squeegee over it and cleaned it off, and it's still there. So it has to have some sort of an oil or something on the skin. Now, whether he rubbed his hand on his forearm and the hair there, and it picked up some oily substance, or I don't know. But the dermal ridges are very, very prominent in that picture.
There's got to be more going on than that. Did you say you washed it a couple times?
Twice.
Well, it would come off if it was just nothing going on other than just not, there's got to be more to it.
And I've never had them put a print on one of my windows. Now, Robin and Patrick get it all the time. They get even better ones than that, where it shows the fingers and everything, where their hands the size of a dinner plate.
No, but don't you agree? Don't you agree? If you wash that, that's going to come off unless there's more to it going on.
Yeah, it should. There's some sort of an oily substance to it. I mean,
No, I don't even think it's like, I don't think it's to do with oil or anything like that. I don't think it's like, can be explained, like in scientific terms. There is something, like they want it to stay there or something, because oil or any of that stuff could be removed.
Let me clarify that, or go a little deeper on it. Each time I've washed it, it's become lighter, but it is still there. You can still see it.
Okay.
And it's been washed 3 times or 4 times, and I don't know how many rainstorms we've had since then. In addition, lots.
Yeah. Well, we got Ken King on now too, listening. He says an energetic force moving through is exactly what it is. I'm not sure what he was referring to though.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah. Listen, I got the last of your orb photos, and this one here is just so outstanding, because you're out in the middle of the woods. It's in the middle of the night. It's a trail cam, and I don't know what that light is up there.
Yeah, and that was taken within the month of October. And where are we at? The 8th now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're the 8th. Yeah.
I have no idea what the light source is. Have no idea.
Well, and then this is something else that you guys can't see, because it's going out to Facebook and YouTube, but there's this thing here, right here. I do not know what that is. If I can draw it. Right there.
Looks like Mickey Mouse. You're drawing.
I do not know what that is, but that's some kind of a dark, solid.
Well, that light spot that goes from the foreground into the background, that is the trail, the deer trail. So it's whatever it is that you're pointing to is on the deer trail.
What do you mean, this little spot right here? That's the deer trail?
The light colored path there, it's got a little bit of a crook in it.
Yeah, that's this here, right?
Yeah.
That's the deer trail?
Yeah, that's the deer trail. Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's just outstanding. I mean, because, you know, is that a being there? It's aliens. Who knows?
I have no idea. I don't know what the light
Yeah.
source is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. We
there's
got to
no
share some stories
electricity.
there, Tim.
There's no
We got to share some
there's
stuff.
no
But this is
electricity out there.
this must have been taken a few seconds apart because this little guy right here is still there. This little it looks like it to me like a cat or something. And there's his little
Could
arm
be.
right
Uh,
there.
Now
I don't know, man.
I've had some raccoons on that trail, and they show up in the pictures. So I don't know if I sent them to you or not.
But anyway, this must have been taken only a few seconds apart because the little guy there is still there. But then these light things are just too much.
Yeah, you got the beam of light, and then couple of orbs in there to boot.
I don't really see anything there, Beans. I think that's just the
And it's
ground,
in
but
blue. Well, you don't see the little being? Yeah.
no,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think it's just natural, but
No,
I certainly see the other stuff.
you have to see it in in the message box or something. It's there. Something's
Okay.
there. Because I'll show you. See if I can say. See if I can do it here. What you see here is there's right here. It goes a little stick that goes up here, and it gets interrupted. It goes here, and then it goes
Yep.
here. That's one stick, and the guy in the middle is this little guy here.
Okay, as
Well,
far as I know, that is a tree stump.
Could be. Could well be.
I'd have to take a photograph of it in the daytime, but I believe that's a tree stump.
Could be because it
might be
didn't
wrong.
move much. And then this one here is the classic. It looks like a Christmas or something. I don't know what that is.
wow.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I never had so many orbs show up in one photograph at one time.
Now, usually like the orbs that people can say are dust, right? They're these little guys like this. You know, that's
Yeah.
the orbs that are dust, right? Not this. These things
Yeah.
are gigantic. You know.
Well, I have no idea how big they are. Now, I've seen
Tim-
orbs in the woods, and they're usually about the size of a softball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I-
this one, this is a see-through orb. This is an orb with a lot of light, and these are orbs with like a very little light. I mean, it's just a lot going on here.
Yeah, sometimes you can
How
blow
close
those
up? How close up is that picture? I'm trying to figure out how big they are. Actually, how close up is that picture? I
I don't know.
is that a tree in behind there?
This
Yeah.
is
That's a tree in behind.
that's-
Yeah.
this
That's
is
fading
light.
into
This,
the
there's,
forest.
Okay.
this is a light a shaft of light here, and the tree is this is
Oh, okay. Whoa.
there's a tree here. See, that's a tree. And inside that shaft of light, there's a little tree, which is not very big, see? And it goes up. But this shaft of light, I don't know what that is. This is another tree over here.
Right. Oh, yeah. I was looking at that and I thought it was a tree, but yeah, I guess it is a shaft of light.
Sometimes in those more opaque orbs, if you blow them up, you can see things inside them.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't try it on any
Yeah.
of mine.
I mean, I've seen a lot of orb pictures where there's even more orbs than that, but these ones are very, very big and just stand out. That's an amazing picture. Look at that.
Yeah. There's the stump again, which is, let's see if I can put it down here. But this guy here, this one here is like, whoa, what is that about? And here's the
there's a lot of energy there.
stump again. So this camera was the kind of taking the same picture, the same place, and this is the deer trail
Yeah.
goes out here.
Because there's a trail cam and it's got the timestamp on it on each one of them.
Yeah.
There, if you look at the bottom, date and time.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see anything there, Beans. I just see the ground, but okay. That's of course not important.
It's not a very good picture. You know, it's trail cam's not very good. But Timothy, you've got this whole range of stuff, like a big part of your life has done this. What do you? Could you give us like an overview of like what you think the Sasquatch people are, the forest people? Who do you think they are?
Well, I asked them that question, and they said that they're half human and half star people. Now, what they mean by star people, I don't know. But their genetics are the closest thing to ours than anything else in this world. Like a monkey shares like 97 or 98% of our DNA. Well, the Sasquatch people are like 99.99 something. That's how close they are to us. But they have abilities that we do not have or would love to attain, but they can do things that we can't do.
Like what?
Well, like their communication. When they do the telepathy, distance does not matter. You could be several thousand miles away and they can tune into you and talk to you like you were standing right next to them. They have that
I think we have
ability.
those abilities.
Well,
I
we
think we
may
have
have
those
them
abilities too, but we just
latently, but
forgot.
we
We've
don't
we've
know how to
forgotten
use
about
them.
it. Yeah, yes.
Forgot how to use them.
Well, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why they're here, right? To reintroduce us to some of those abilities.
Very well.
That's why you're seeing so many people come out with all these amazing abilities lately.
And
But
then they
yeah, go ahead.
have
So
that ability to fade out of view. I asked them about that, and they said that they just changed their vibration rate. Like every object, everything has a certain vibration rate to it. A tree does, a rock does. This type of rock has a different vibration rate than that one does, and compared to sand or a tree or a bird, everything has a certain vibration rate. They can move their vibration rate up or down. When they move it down to a lower level, that's when they come within our range of vision. But they can raise their vibration rate and they just disappear. Now they also
mhm.
seem to have the ability to like float over the ground. Like that's why we only see maybe sometimes 1, 2, 3 footprints and then there's nothing. Just where'd they go? How come there ain't no more foot? They seem to be able to like levitate or pick themselves up off the ground and become like weightless or something. I have no idea how it works, but
Or maybe they just mentally go somewhere else.
it's possible.
They just
I didn't ask them that
you know.
question. Um, oh, here's one that I had happen. It's part of a story, but it's kind of an ability also. Um, I had it was in a July, and I believe it was about 2 years ago. I felt this loss. I felt like something was missing. And when I was talking to the forest people, I said, what has happened? I feel I feel a loss of something." And they said, "We had one of the elders die." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. What do I do to show respect?" And he said, "I said, do you bury your dead, or what do you do with them?" And he says, "Yes, we bury the dead in a place where you will never find them. Humans will not find them." And I said, "Well, what do you do to show respect or reverence for the dead?" And they said, "We have 4 days of silence." That's what they say that they do. It's 4 days where there's silence. There's that, instead of like a minute of silence like we do in some cases, they have four
Yep.
days of silence. And another one on that same kind of subject. I had a birthday, and I asked the forest people to wish me a happy birthday, and they did. And I said, "Do you celebrate birthdays?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, do you have any holidays or things that you do celebrate?" And they said, "Yes. The birth of a youngster is a great event, And he said he said, we don't celebrate it annually, but it's a celebration. It's a big celebration. And I said, well, what kind of goes on with that? And they said, unlike your people, he says, our people choose the soul that goes into that individual
Wow.
or before they are born. He says, we choose that soul to come into that newborn. And this is why it's such a great celebration.
Wow, that is
So,
heavy stuff.
so that was kind
The
of,
Africans used to do that. The Africans, the old wise women of the Africans, they would put two people together. It's like what we call arranged marriage, uh, and because they knew which soul they wanted to bring into the earth to help out the tribe and stuff. So
and
we
that's
used to
what
do
they say
that
they
too.
do.
So, but that's a very high, misunderstood thing because now we go for love, and that's what screwed up the world.
Yeah, because there was one time, right after I was introduced to my guardian, there was a very, very long period of time where every single day we communicated through Patrick. And I asked thousands and thousands of questions, and on some questions they won't answer you. They'll kind of skirt around it. They don't want to go there for some reason. Uh, like one time I can't remember the question I asked him, but I had asked him a question like 4 times in a row. And then finally, he says, I'm busy. I have to go somewhere. And he refused to talk to me. That was kind of funny. Where there's some questions they don't want to tell you. And then the other thing I found out is when you ask them questions, they are very direct, very specific to what you tell them or ask them, and they only give you enough information that you need to know. They rarely expound upon anything. They only tell you what you need to know.
How do you get these answers? Because you don't get mind speak too much,
I
right?
just ask them. No,
But
I
how do you
have
get
to
the
ask them
answer?
through one of my
He
through
asked
either
Pat.
Patrick or Robin or Andrea. I have
Okay, I just
three
wanted to
of them.
clarify that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He said someday we will speak, and it will be soon. Well, that was like 4 years ago, and I'm still waiting. So my time on the earth may not be as long because I'm 75, so I ain't got a whole lot more to wait.
Well, he'll talk to you in heaven. He doesn't left that part out.
Yes, and that's what he said. He said you will understand more when you become spirit. That was his answer to me. He said you'll understand
Yeah.
more when you become spirit.
So what we all, I mean, we've all, yeah, I mean, I have my ideas on it, but what is your idea on why are the Sasquatch people here now? Why are they contacting us? What is their purpose?
There seems to be several camps on that. It's like there's some clans or groups that kind of want to cling to the old way, you might say, and then you have like a new wave kind of thing. Now, whether this is planned, I'm not sure, but because they're a very structured people, they have councils, they have laws and rules of engagement, you might say, that that they are very strict with. They are very conscious of what they do. So now, I think there's like a group that is trying to become more connected to us, you might say, and they are looking more for individuals, those individuals with the open minds and hearts, and they will communicate with you if you extend that olive branch. Because a lot of people don't know how to, they go around banging on trees and yelling in the forest and whooping and stuff like that. Well, I don't think they like that so much. But if you go
What,
out
what,
there and
what,
then you ask them, if you ask them, and give them your intentions. What do you want out of your relationship with them? What are you expecting from them? Then they are more inclined to accept that olive branch and come forward. But again, they don't give you anything more than you can handle at one time. You can't eat a whole elephant. You just got to do one bite at a time. And this is the way they present things to you. They're very wise
No,
people. Very wise.
I understand that, but what is their message to us, to
I
the
don't
ones
know
that they're
yet.
connecting with? What?
I
Oh, okay.
I don't, because they seem to respond to different people different ways on different levels. Some people they're
Well, I
much
mean,
more open.
to me, I mean, and I, I deal directly with them. I mean, to me, it's always been about all one and all connected, and to raise our vibrations, because in that vibration of love and no judgment is where the change comes, where there is actual change. So they're trying to reintroduce us to who we are. I
That
think it's
very
as
well
simple as
could be,
that for me.
because the visions that I get have a tendency to run along that same exact theme. We are all one. We are all one. You know.
I mean, to me, it's like hammer over the head. I mean, it's all about connection and all one, and trying to introduce those of us who have the eyes and the hearts to see who we really are, and because that's really what it's all about. Hey, we got a guest coming on. Oh, there he is.
Hey, everybody.
I thought you quit the show there for a minute. What happened to you?
I just had to do some stuff outside. I had to go look at my glyphs.
Oh.
Well, I didn't have any, so it didn't take too long.
we thought maybe you had enough. So, did you want to say anything about Tim there, Pat, quickly? Because I guess we're going to wrap it up.
I basically, both of us, myself and Robin, were interpreters for him, and Andrea Billups as well. We interpreted for the telepathy and to communicate with Sami for him. We go up. Occasionally, we went up there one time. We saw the footprints. I don't know if he showed them or not, but we cast the footprints up there, and
Yeah, we showed those.
yeah, we cast those with Tim, and we had this one thing happen. I still have the thing on video. It's really weird. We're like, when you go up there and then you see the structures, if you put your hand in there, you can feel the pulsating energy. It's really wild.
We showed those photos of you putting your hand in there.
Yeah. And
yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
We had something, we were doing a video and something just like showed up on the video. I still can't figure it out to this day what it was. It was just so fast that you just could not figure out what it was. I saw it the other day. I was looking at it. I found it, and it's still on my phone, and I just can't figure it out. I tried to slow it down, but I don't have something like that on my phone, but like a slow speed. It was kind of brown, and it's really, really quick. And we think it was like a portal or something we were by, but he's got quite a bit of foots up there.
You guys got to, next year, hopefully when the borders open, or if they do, you guys got to come up to the gathering up here. There was some amazing things going on. One lady is getting, remember Laurel there, Mr. Beans?
Yep.
Yeah, she got a hold of me the other day, and she was saying that just absolutely amazing just like life transformation things are happening with her. Like, just like,
She got some kind of activation up there.
yeah, she did. And then I guess she had a session with Christina Schwind, you know her, and a lot was revealed there. And
Christina's magic woman.
oh, she is, because yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you're invited. I know you want to come. So
That's in Oregon, right, or Washington State? Oh no, British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. We could, you know, come up there, and we got Jason's and her wife and his wife and daughter up in I think it's Vancouver. Maybe we can visit them.
oh, who's that? Your relatives of yours?
Son.
Oh, your
Jason.
son lives in Vancouver. Oh, nice. He lives in
Well,
Vancouver.
It's our son, Jason, and we got Tobin, and then Jessica. They're up in Vancouver. So I don't know how far that is from where you are or where we would be, or I have
It's
no
about
idea.
4,000 miles.
Yeah, I'd say so. But
Vancouver to where I am is, and I'm only 15 minutes away from being right in the heart of my clan's home. Like, I just have to get in my truck and basically drive up the street a little ways. It's about 30 to 50, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 miles. Not far.
oh, okay. Oh,
Like a
okay.
45-minute drive kind of thing from
That might
Vancouver to
be
Maple Ridge.
That may be a thing to do then. If we have the
Well,
time and the funds
I mean,
and
it's just
stuff
an
like that.
invitation. I mean, if you want
Yeah.
to come up, it's an invitation, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. And we're gonna have a bean pot where we're gonna do a. I don't believe in GoFundMe kind
A
of things or
bean
whatever.
pot?
They kind of irritate me. They kind of irritate. I don't know why. It's just a pet peeve. But these
Brian,
everybody
you want
go.
you want us to bring some beans?
No. I guess I'm being critical and judging, but some of these GoFundMe things just drive me out of my mind. But we do have to start.
You could have a GoFundMe and try to get beans.
No, I mean, if you
Yeah,
guys,
a bean pot. A bean pot.
Yeah, beans.
If you guys,
A bean pot, and what? Hey, man, beans. I'm trying to help you out here, and you're. I'm trying to help you out here. You're talking over me.
If you guys drive up there, then I could hop a ride with you, see, and split the gas or something.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah, that would work.
I figured out with just the flight alone is like $1,000 round trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
I
so.
don't know why it is. Maybe there's cheaper now.
We'll start. Yeah, we'll start a bean pot. We'll get you up here somehow.
They give you a COVID discount these days.
No, but the thing is, they're gonna frisk us, and they'll find all the beans, Brian. And I'll spill the beans.
Well, how far away do you guys live from each other?
He's in Georgia. He's not too far.
Not far. It's kind of convoluted because there's not a highway straight from my house, from my town to your town. So it's about a 4 or 5 hour drive.
Oh, that's nothing. Well, then, okay. We can get you up here and get you back, and I'll feed you while you're here, so you won't have to do much. I'll be covering the cost of the camp, and yeah. Well, what else am I going to feed? I'm not going to feed him anything like
beans and potatoes, pork and beans.
I'll give you beans, potatoes, and chili beans, and
navy beans.
jalapenos, and fried rice.
Fried rice, okay.
Sound good?
I like
Robin likes fried rice.
Weenies and beanies. Weenies and beanies. You ever had weenies and
Now
beanies?
you got to have Kogel hot dogs. Kogel hot dogs.
Basically,
in the beans.
Whatever. I mean, the bottom line is we're going to feed them. We're going to get them here. You know, all we just got to do is wind them up and let them interact.
That's a lot of driving. That's a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving.
Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot of driving. Yeah, I know. That is a lot
The way to do it is to go up there and get the spiritual retreat one in Washington. They have a
Yeah.
spiritual retreat in Washington, and then have Mr. Pork, make his like the next weekend or something. So they just drive from Washington up to
Hey,
you see what I'm saying? They got two events in like
Well, wait a minute.
Hey,
They got to move theirs.
I have got you guys
I mean,
beat. We
they got,
have got
they're
three.
gonna
We
move
got
that.
3 pigs we can bring with us. They'll bring the beans in the bag and then the pork. The pork and the beans.
Nice. I like that. I like that idea. I like that idea.
roasted pig, roasted
But we
pig.
can't
Yeah.
cook them. We can't cook the pigs.
Oh, you can't cook
Yeah.
the pork?
Well,
No.
They're your pet. You can't have pet pork.
We got 3 pigs, 3 mini pigs.
you kind of have a pet pork. I'm kind of like your pet or your pet peeve.
You're
One of the two.
There's Millie,
pork
Hamlet,
tongue.
and Elliot. 3 pigs.
But anyway, I hate to get back to serious
You know
subjects
you're
or
still
matters,
live
but
you're still live on YouTube. That means you're gonna.
so
there's
what?
no edit. Well, just
Who
I
cares?
don't know. Well, we have our fans.
Maybe we'll make,
Well, look, the coastal chick showed up. Ken King showed up. Interdict Force will move through exactly what it is. Then
yeah, this is just
Ellen
the flying off the
Hi,
seat of our
guys.
pants part of the show.
Hi, Force people. I say we'll all meet at Brian's. Yeah, okay. What's this? Fried rice I'd eat. Yeah. Yes to Kogels. That's my pigs and Pat
You're reading that.
moved outside. I'm on exactly where we are, which is I'm on the BC, the Sasquatch BC True Story Pork and Bean Show live. Stream started
Live
3 hours
from-
ago.
Live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Yay.
Live from the universe and beyond, it's the Pork and Bean Show, starring
That's a good one.
Frank Cunningham. Oh no, see? I guess I
Pork
am getting
Cunningham.
tired. Why do I always call myself? Okay, starring Pork Cunningham and Frank Oliver Baines. I take entirely too much joy in saying your name like that. I don't know why.
What?
We're bean brains. We all got bean brains. Beans for brains.
But basically, what I'm
Hey,
saying is,
hey.
man, we're gonna get.
Hey, Robin is typing messages to you guys as we
Good.
speak.
Why
Yeah.
don't you just come on the show?
Because she can't get on.
Why? I just sent her another link.
Where's she?
I just sent her the good link.
Brian sent you a link. But she goes on it and it won't let her do the video.
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna send it to her in her chat box. So hold on a minute. I gotta minimize this.
Messenger.
What?
I can't minimize this.
I got Pat
Darn it.
McRae, but I don't have Robin.
She's typing messages to you, Mike.
Where?
I don't know. She said she's typing them.
Not in my message box. She's not.
I don't know where she's typing them to.
Classic Pork and Beans. Total chaos.
Yeah, I know.
Now we're back to our standards, our regular standard. This is
Maybe
where we
she's
want to
on
be.
Facebook.
I feel like I'm at home again.
I just
In a
found the Pork and Bean Show from last week. Maybe I should give shout outs for a week late. Susan Funkhauser. Hi, Pork and Beans. A week late shout out. Cindy Laura. Hi, Cindy.
Tell Robin I just sent her oh, here she is.
You there?
Oh, that's okay. She's coming.
Okay.
She'll be coming round the mountain. when she
Let's
Phil
see.
Bookballer says, I guess I'm old school. I always have issues with Zoom, but Skype works fine.
There she is. She's
See?
above.
That's
Look
what.
at that.
That's what.
Look at that.
Look at that. She's above.
See,
the
that's why I like it
earth.
when.
Look at this. How did
That's
you
when
do
I like it when
that?
Robin comes on. She doesn't have any issues with her sound or anything. She just comes on like a
She's
professional.
floating. Look.
Okay, it's
How
the end
did
of the
you do
show.
that
Goodbye, good night,
planning?
everybody.
I can't even see you guys. I mean, I can see you guys one at a time, but I can't see everybody.
How did you do that
What are
planning?
you saying, Frank? Goodbye, everybody.
No, I can't see everybody at one time.
Put everything on the gallery view. Are we
That's
on
what
the
I'm trying to
gallery view?
do. That's what I'm
Got
trying to do.
Well, you can't do it.
It's on
I'm
planet
the
Earth.
Omni God here doing all that stuff. Gallery view. Okay, I am on gallery view.
Oh, okay.
I can see.
Are
Like
there
I
other?
can see.
It looks good. Hi, Robin.
Hey, sweetie.
So Rob, you guys are switching like musical chairs. You're on the opposite sides now.
All I can
How'd
see
that
is one
happen?
of you guys at a time. It's not letting me. Normally, I can get everybody at one time.
You got to turn the page, so to speak.
I did.
Hey,
There
Beans.
we go.
Frank,
I want Beans back on.
there he
Now
is.
I see
Frank, get on
everybody.
there. Hey, so what are the Sasquatch saying about
Poking
Mr.
you.
Beans
They
Poking you.
crack up
today?
when we do this show. I'm just being honest with you. They think you guys are pretty funny.
Well, I am. I'm not sure.
I was typing. I was like on there typing, and and Beans is going, "Oh, look, Arlen Forest people. You know, she wrote something," and I'm like, "But that's me."
Hey,
Look how hurt Beans is. He thinks I'm
Oh, we
serious.
love.
how did you
Oh, I
do
see
it?
Come
what
on.
you're saying. I said what you said. So that's you. You're the forest people, the R line forest people.
I've got a question.
Well,
Yeah, that's me.
sure.
How did you do the?
But wait a minute, I didn't get mine answered.
Okay, what's
I didn't
your-
get mine answered. What are the forest people saying about Frank Oliver Beans
Oh, they love him.
right now?
No,
Or
they love him. They love you both. They've always loved him. They say he speaks.
who
Yeah,
do they love more?
they
I'm
say
just
that he
joking. I'm
speaks
just
for
joking.
them.
Oh, that's impressive.
Well,
I think
okay.
I know who Hizzle Swizzle is.
Swizzle. Oh Lord.
Who Hizzle Swizzle? Yeah.
How are you on Earth, above the Earth? Look at your background.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
How did you do it?
Oh, you did
do
it.
that?
You did it.
You know what? I would love to say that I did it myself, but I fell into it accidentally because I have no clue. I played with it the other day when nobody was
Yeah.
using it. And I went on there and I tried to switch the backgrounds and stuff. And that's the one that I was able to get. But I didn't do any of it today. It just came up that way.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Now I'm gonna go and do
There it is,
one.
virtual background.
Oh, you got it too?
Yeah.
Oh,
There I
you're on
Here
the
we go.
Golden
I'm
Gate
in-
Bridge.
What are you
Okay, I'm
doing
gonna
up
am in
there?
San
Wonder how that
Francisco.
You are so bizarre. I don't know, but they have been out here every night playing around in the trees. And the other night I went out there to get something out of the car, and it was after dark. It wasn't that late, but it was after dark. I go out there and I open the car door and I heard something in the bushes right behind me, and it was obviously big. And I turned around and there's two dog kennels out there, and because I have foster dogs here. And they're standing there looking at the bushes, like, what is going on? But they weren't barking, but there was nothing in their pen that could rustle. So all you can hear is this rustling in the bushes. And I thought, okay, whatever. I asked who it was. Nobody responded. So I turned around and I went to get something out of the car. And they do that counting coup where they come up behind you. They stay cloaked and they're supposed to touch you.
Yeah.
And I could feel him come right up behind me. I'm like, right behind me. And I'm like, this. So help me, Hannah. If you touch me and you don't tell me who you are, we're going to have issues. But I could hear him there and I could feel him there. It was weird. They stayed there for a while. And I said, I'm still getting my stuff out of the car. It wasn't one that I recognized, but I didn't feel anything bad from him. And so I finished getting what I needed out of the car and I shut the door and I went in and it just felt like he was right behind me. And then as soon as I moved away from the car, it wasn't as intense. Pretty soon I heard the bushes rustling again.
Awesome.
Like, I don't know what you're doing, but
How come guys keep bailing out on us? What is going on with Mr. Beans?
I'm doing
Did he
something
go again?
super. I'm doing
no, he's
something
there. He's
super exciting.
just silent.
Very
Pat,
good.
where are you at?
Oh, just a second. I'll be there in a minute.
Oh,
Look at
wow.
him.
Look
He's
at
got
that
a Beans
background.
behind
Look at
him.
he's
that's
advertising.
Beans
Pork and
has
beans.
Look at
Beans
that.
behind him. Look at him.
Oh my
He is
goodness.
showing off.
Taking it
I
to
don't even know
another
how to
level,
change
y'all.
mine.
Huh?
Oh, you can use anything.
I know. How do I do it?
Here, I'll show
You go,
you.
there's a little tiny little thing with a little cross on it, and you click on that, and it'll let you upload a photograph.
Oh, I see. Okay. There's the virtual background.
Yeah. Did you know, Robin, that I told him this too. I told Mr. Beans this. I said, there's going to come a day when your identity, your old identity will no longer be, and you will be known as Frank Oliver Beans. People in his group, his heart group, are calling him Mr. Beans now. Some of them.
Mr. Beans.
Bean.
Yeah, the Bigfoots are pretty active right now. They seem to be all out and about.
Well, when do you think that the world is going to change and open up their hearts to the Sasquatch people, and we're going to have Sasquatch picnic days and Sasquatch holidays?
You know, they honestly
Sasquatch,
about every
Matt.
3 years they try. I don't know why that seems to be the time frame, but anywhere from every 3 to 4 years they contact me to try. And they started. This will be the third year. They tried 2 or 3 years ago because I quit doing conferences. I didn't do any, and that's when I started doing the conferences again because that's what they wanted people to know what they were. What are you doing now? He's like
What
popping
are you
up and down.
doing?
Look at him.
Oh man, that's
He
amazing.
is gifted.
Look at this. You are like, wow.
You are a gifted
I think
man, Beans.
you told me he was a wizard, right? Oh no, somebody else said he was a wizard. I'm starting to believe
He
that.
kind of looks a little bit like
Yeah.
Gandalf. So
Yeah. He's a wizard, and then I was all like, oh, I can't wait to hear. And then somebody said I'm an elf, so kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Pat, I can't see you at all. What are you doing? There you
There,
go.
I got my background.
Oh,
See it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that
nice.
looks much better.
In front of our
That
I just got
house.
to put a little bit of sun. I just got to get my
Look at it.
suntan
He's
lotion
got
out.
a
Just give me a
video.
second.
He's got a video going. Look at that.
Look at Beans. How did you do that disappearing from the view there, Beans?
I
Where
just
are
tilted-
you? Oh
just
my
tilted
God.
my camera up.
This is the whole show on where everybody is. I mean, what the world?
Robin, I'm going to have to give you a public service announcement that Fort Cunningham does not have any pants on.
Oh, now that's an exciting show. Now it's a
He's in
party.
his skivvies. But look, he looks so normal.
Hey, they invited us up, so I told Brian we're gonna have to bring.
I'm all for that.
We're gonna have to bring a bunch of pork and beans. We'll bring the pigs, and they'll bring some beans with us.
We bring those pigs, and let me tell you where you're going to be living.
Well, you know,
I'll be in the
Mr. Beans, you are the world's, you are the world's handsomest man. But if anybody has to have their pants off, it's probably better that it's
But
me.
the thing of it is now that his pants are off, now it's a party. Okay.
Oh boy!
Well, I've got boxer shorts on.
Talking like nobody notices that he's got his no pants on.
I know.
Well, I've got boxer shorts on.
Well, now that everybody's going pantsless, it really is a party. I don't know what to think. Pat's out stripping in the yard, and
We're supposed to be talking about
Is that what?
SASQUATCH. I don't see how you guys. I don't see how you guys could ever go drive up to Newfoundland or wherever he lives, and then leave all your animals behind. You have to hire.
No, I actually have a very close friend of mine that watches the animals while we're gone. She'll come and stay here. She's wonderful, and they all love her. So
how many animals do you have? You got like 15 horses, 2,000 dogs.
No, I don't. I'm actually, this is the first time I haven't had horses. I've got like 15 dogs here because some of them are rescue dogs. I've got, with the rescue cats, I've probably got 30 cats here. I've got a silk-coated tortoise, a cockatiel, 4 or 5 guinea pigs. I think there's 4. And then I have a hedgehog that's here. So, yeah.
I didn't know we had hedgehogs in the U.S.
Yep. I used to have an armadillo, but I haven't had her in years. She was a sweetheart. Oh, she's fun. We have armadillos in the backyard, but I used to have one as a pet. I've got regular cats here. I've got exotic cats here.
You could have Mr. Beans there. He'd
I
move
know.
in.
He can come visit me anytime he wants. Pants are not optional.
What do you mean? Like he can't wear pants, or he has to wear them?
They are not optional.
Oh, okay.
The pork and beef,
Yeah, that's good to clarify that right off the bat.
Well, listen, Tim was just like such a great guest. I mean, he had so many experiences. I mean,
yeah, Tim is wonderful. Pat and I have been working with Tim for years.
And he's doing.
Can you do anything for Mr. Beans? Can you work with him? And get him to quit smoking is number one. I'm concerned about my partner there.
Because I have a phantom towel in the background.
I know. What is that?
Magic.
You are.
Arise. Disappear.
See? He's a wizard.
Disappear.
So Tim has some amazing stories.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I thought he was trying to get back on, but his
clan absolutely
I guess he couldn't. But
him. His clan just adores him.
Yeah, they do.
Pat and I have been really fortunate. We've been able to go there quite a bit and work with him and the clan. And he's got the clan that's on his. It's really cute because he's got the clan that comes and visits his property, and then there's like a cutoff point where another clan goes, and like they don't cross that line. But they're all really sweet, and like I said, his group just absolutely loves them.
Well, I think if they're working with you, and you get a close family connection with them, I mean,
and
that's
he's very respectful.
pretty well par for the course, though, right?
That's the main thing. Tim is very respectful of them and their needs and what they want, and it just works out really well there. They absolutely love him.
Well,
I could see it. I could see it when he's telling his stories. You can see his heart being expressed through all the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, he tears up and stuff when he's. Hey, you hear that? What I have to deal with this guy?
Towel.
But yeah, I mean, you can see his heart being expressed with his stories or whatever.
They keep a close. It's precious because his wife, who is just as wonderful and loving as Tim is, like Tim and his family are family to Pat and I at this point. And he'll go to the property where he does his hunting at, where he visits with the Bigfoot. And they'll send somebody down and keep an eye on his wife for him while he's not there. And I had asked them about that one time, and they said, that out of respect, because he's considered a brother of the clan, in the clan, if somebody's not there, the others will look after the mate or the spouse, whatever you want to call it. And so when he leaves to go up to the property, someone will go down there and keep an eye on his wife.
That's a great story.
It really is. And his wife is every bit, his whole family is just wonderful. Pat and I just adore them. I've known him for quite a while, as has Pat. And his wife is every bit as sweet and loving as he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how they would. Yeah, I mean, they take care of the people they're connected with and their loved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we going to end this show, or should I get my peanut butter and banana sandwich?
What? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? I got to eat at some point too, but I'll go on for another little bit if you want to get a sandwich.
It's up to you, whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to have to get off pretty soon anyway, because I got stuff I have to do, but.
Okay, well then when you say you have to get off, then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, because I'm getting kind of hungry too, but.
Chopped liver?
No, your peanut butter, and you go get your peanut butter sandwich.
We can come back and do this at a different day as well.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Why don't we do that so everybody can eat?
Okay.
This is, look at it. If this is like a separation anxiety and a codependent relationship, there has to be a way to cut it clean, and call it a day.
You guys, I'll make you a deal. You guys let me know the date and time and I'll be there. And we'll continue this again.
Well, hey, you're kind of like Pat's an admin now, so you can pretty well come on anytime you want.
Yeah, we can have another
Okay.
one on Saturday.
I will do that.
When the
I will do that.
yeah, when the speaker slows
Yeah.
down a little bit, we'll put on all of our friends. We got to work out this Facebook live thing. It was fun to go on Facebook Live because we get like 1,000 views. When you come over
Yeah.
come over here to the Pork and Beans show on
YouTube.
and we've got like one person watching.
Yeah.
That's a brave person with the conversation that's been going on for the last 2 hours.
One person in 3 hours.
Somebody's got
Hey.
some.
I tried to start the show today.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's probably the reason why it didn't go well.
You probably screwed it up. That's why.
Oh no, I didn't. I did not. It was
Hey,
all
who's
screwed
Sonny
up
Tundra
before I
Bunny?
did
Well,
that.
I'm
Hey,
gonna pop
Robin,
up and I will.
Robin, who's Sunny Tundra Bunny? Do you know Sunny Tundra Bunny?
Yes, I do. And she is, if it's who I think she is, I love her to pieces.
She says, Robin, hi, baby girl. Pat, brother from another mother. So
You
Yeah,
tell
that's
her
her.
that I absolutely love and adore her and miss her. She needs to get her butt back here. I'm waiting
Wait a
for
minute.
her.
I think she just heard that.
I hope so. She knows I
I
love
think
her.
you just told her.
She's my sister.
you know what's the thing about beans is they have this great suntan, but looking right, contrasted to beans, I look all pale and pasty.
I have no idea
Well-
what Pat's doing. He's like on a trampoline in there or something, bouncing all around. I have no idea. The things that this man does, people can't understand.
Robin.
Oh my
Robin.
Patrick, hold still. Okay, what? What, Pork?
Did you were you aware of the fact that Frank Oliver Baines is the world's handsomest man? Did you know that?
I wasn't, but you know what? I can understand that. I believe that to be true.
Yeah,
do.
and I thought, well, it makes sense.
It does.
I mean,
I can't
look
think
at
of
him.
anybody
He's like
else.
he's like an Adonis. It makes sense, but
He
I
is.
actually did a little.
He is a
I
god
actually
among men. Let's just be real.
I actually looked into it. I actually did a little Googling of it though, and because I mean, obviously, you just look at the man. It's like I said, he's a
I
bronze
can
god.
hardly contain myself. I'm just saying, and I love you, honey, but I can hardly contain
if I
myself.
was, I mean, it almost makes me want to go to the other side.
I know. It's hard. I know. I'm normal, I'm in love with my husband, but I got to be honest with you. I had to think about it.
It's the Pork and Beans. I represent Pork and Beans. Irresistible.
But in any event, I Googled it, I said, well, I got to verify it. And apparently, the world's most interesting man, that guy with the beer or whatever. What's that guy's name? Beans? Look at him.
Look at him. He's up and down.
Anyway, the world's most
I want to know what these guys
the guy,
are doing between him and Pat. They're like pogo sticks. I don't even understand it.
I can't do that. I'm not that magical. I can't do that.
You go up, you just bring the camera up and down. See?
Oh, do you?
You're just moving the camera.
Oh yeah, look at this.
I can't believe either one of them
But anyway,
have energy to bounce up and down. So I'm going to go with it's a camera.
Well, look at this.
See, there goes Brian. He's going too.
Anyway.
Okay, people, let's meet together.
No, hold on a second. No, I didn't finish what I was going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
The world's most interesting man, the guy who does the beer commercials.
Yeah.
Like I'm the world's most interesting. That guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a restraining order against Beans. Beans is not allowed to go anywhere within 2 city blocks of him because it would blow his gig right out of the water, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's true. So he's
You're
a
out of control, Beans.
well.
I know.
You're like a sexy beast, man. You know, like you just got to
cannot
live it. You got to
control
own
it
it.
I want
like
to
the
show you
wind.
my collection here. This, what do you call it? The
He's like the
Oh.
wind. He cannot
towel
be
is like a
controlled.
used towel. and
He's
then I have
like,
a
she's
napkin.
like the
See over here?
wind.
That napkin
Yeah.
right there is a used napkin just because it's interesting. And then I have some used shirts. And then I have over here, I have.
When you do your laundry and
used
your
pocket of
computer.
money. That right there, that's where I keep. That's where I.
Oh
I
my
used to keep
goodness.
my money, but it's empty. So I felt bad that it's empty. So I thought I'd post it up there. So that's my interesting, you know.
Very cool.
One day, can you give us a story behind all those hats? Is there something
Those are hats. They're
special
hats.
about
There's, you know.
what?
Let me show you how hats work.
He wears many hats, Pork.
This is a hat, right? And it's made to go on your head like this. Well, I don't know. I don't,
Yeah.
Usually most kids learn that, but so that's how it works.
Well, whew, now I know how to do that.
No,
I was worried.
but no. No, wait a minute. Sometimes there's something on the hat that you associate with or has sentimental value or something. That's what I
No,
meant.
it's a hat.
No,
It's just
nothing
a
like
hat.
that. It's just a hat.
And I
Okay.
have like two kind of like cream colored ones and one blue one.
Mike, you have to give us a turn.
The color. I like the color selection. You got
Yeah.
a nice
You look
nice
good in a
selection of
hat.
colors. I like that.
Mm,
You look good in a hat. You wear it well.
yeah. Well,
I can't
He's
find my
bringing
hats.
sexy back.
Okay, guys. Hey, it never left
It
with
never
Beans.
did.
No. Okay, guys, how about we close this out? And this show was perfect because it was absolute chaos. I mean, that's exactly what we want,
Yeah,
right?
but you know what? That's what makes this show so darn good is the chaos. It's unscripted. It's unfiltered. It's real.
Yeah, and it allows me to do absolutely screw everything completely up, and it's perfect.
And we're so proud of you. Nobody does it better than the Pork and Beans show.
Nobody does it better.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's better. Nobody does it quite the way.
Oh my goodness. That was such a good movie, though. The Spy
Yeah.
Who Loved Me. That was
Well,
fantastic.
Yeah.
well,
Who was in that?
Who was in that one?
Is that Roger Moore?
We're supposed to.
Yeah, Roger Moore was in it.
We're talking about.
Oh, The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that-
I don't know. I always liked Bond, James Bond. I'm a Sean Connery guy.
Yeah, but The
Remember?
Spy Who Loved Me was my
Yeah.
all-time favorite.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Sean Connery was who's the definitive Bond for you? I think Sean Connery.
Sean Connery I liked, but I liked Roger
Yeah.
Moore.
You know
I
who would have
like
been good in
Roger.
that? You know who would have been good in that role? Frank
Beans,
Oliver Baines.
Yeah.
Beans would have been the
Damn.
perfect James.
James
Bond.
Bond. Perfect.
Say it, Beans. Say Bond. James Bond.
that would have been perfect.
Shaken, not twisted, or something like that.
Get all the women.
Shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred.
He doesn't
Yeah.
want all the women. He's on a completely different vibration. He doesn't need that kind of love. He's got heart love.
You gotta.
Yeah,
you
he
gotta
does.
Have that. You gotta have that British accent.
Got all those beans in the background.
Hello,
Okay, so what's the
Bond.
next show that you guys are doing?
Well, I
When
don't
is the
know.
next show?
Saturday.
Saturday, I think.
I can't do it Saturday. I'm not going to be around.
Okay. Well, listen.
Oh.
We have a whole
Tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. isn't it?
22nd, 23rd, 24th. That little gap there is all open right now. We need to get some volunteers.
I'll see who I can wrestle
Oh,
up.
okay.
I'm also going to be in divorce court before I got married if I don't keep some days open for my girlfriend too.
Yeah, Sue deserves that. You need to be there.
Yeah, because we're on opposite sides of the border, but we've got that little gift area where we can go and that they can't
Yeah.
close down where we can meet. So I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what do you think? Should we wrap it up, guys?
Yeah. And I will see you
Okay.
guys next time.
Okay. So from Put Cunningham and Frank.
I can thank God I can go get my peanut butter.
Get that man a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
You know, you don't let me. Every time I do the closing thing, you start talking now.
Make sure you get some milk, Mike.
I'll tell you what. You do it.
Ooh.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for showing up, and we'll talk to you later. And leave the lights on for you.
Bye.
Okay.
Leave the
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness, they're crazy.
Now,
You're going through an ascension process. It's gonna hurt.
Yes, it is.
Never been this blue. I never knew the meaning of a heartache. But then again, I've never lost a love before. Somewhere down the road, maybe all those years will find some meaning. I just can't think about them now or live them out anymore. Stand tall, don't you fall. For God's sake, don't go and do something foolish. All you're feeling right now is silly human pride. Oh, stand tall, don't you fall. Ooh, don't do something you might regret later. You're feeling it like everyone. It's silly human pride. Never lasted so long. No. Hope you so much, hope you so many. I just can't believe I could throw it all away. Sometimes late at night, when there's nothing here except my old piano, I'd almost give my hands, make you see my way. I'm gonna stand tall, oh, don't you fall. Oh, for God's sakes, don't do something foolish. All you're feeling right now is silly human pride. You got me on my knees, oh mama. Stand tall.
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart?
I'd say you've had enough.
Woo.